Wait 1 second. Okay. Let me give it a minute. See if anybody shows up. Me and my Stroop it. What's up? Okay, let me see. Hope all's well, all's good. Come on. Okay, there's a few more you guys coming now. Mark Encinas. Encinas. I butcher names so bad on the fly. Anyway, let me wait just another minute or two, and I'm going to start this story before. Let me just see what's going on here. Okay, hold on. I just messed this up already. Okay, Wayne, I'm doing good. Thanks for asking, Wayne Turnbaugh. My man, Danny F. Robert, any mob guys? No, none that I know of. There was an issue with one of my old cellies, Billy Bruce, used to call Jojo Russo the gay. What did he call him? The gay mob. I forgot. He started some stuff, but it got a little carried away, and Danny Fama had to step in and take Billy's side over it. Actually, you said it right. Okay. Usually people get it wrong, man. Sometimes I'm good with it, but most of the time, I butcher names. I butcher, especially when it comes to YouTube handles or names people put on YouTube and stuff like that. I'm gonna get on with the story real pretty quick. I just want to run through a couple more, see a few more people. Gary Dunning, hi, and I hope you're doing well, mate. Respect from the UK. Thanks, Gary, and thanks for joining me from over there. I hope Lonnie comes back. Yes, John. I had a pet chipmunk at Terre Haute. I had 2 or 3 of them. Cracker, Chipper, and there was one more. And they die. They die. Breaking news. You get them, they die. So here's the deal with chipmunks, real quick, before I get into this story. And then I'll go back. But I'm going to go through the whole story. And it's not that long, okay? Chipmunks. So they have, it's called 13 line ground squirrels. 13 line, not 13 stripe or 13 line. They're ground squirrels. And if you get them when they're babies and you try to bring them back out to the yard, because people keep them in their cell, they put them in the windows. So Lewisburg has these old windows. I mean, no heating and air, so the window's open. But there's bars and a screen on it, and there's like a ledge about that big. That's where people keep the squirrels. And really, when they're babies, you put them in a peanut butter jar, and you put a sock in the peanut butter jar, and then they sleep inside the sock. So that's how that works. Yeah, man, dude's got touchy over those chipmunks too. You know, I've got a big ass woodchuck is what there looks like, a beaver, woodchuck, ground squirrel, whatever. I got a huge one right underneath my building out here, the tool room or whatever, and it's making holes under there like big time. I tore down this wooden platform that I had beside me over here, and there was one living under it, and then they got under there. But this thing comes out and it sits on this little piece of wood that I have. I'll take a photo of it probably. It's funnier than hell. All right, so let me run through a couple of these. How's your evening? My evening's going good. Danny's mom and dad was a huge drug dealer. Yeah, I know. I know about Danny. I mean, as far as that stuff. How long were you in? I did 28 years in Maryland. I did 23 years, 8 months and a day, on one sentence. Before that, a year, 5 months, 16 months, Well, if you're going to start LA County Jail, we're talking 2 months. So on and off, It's got like maybe 10 years on the street now. It's sad. Oh, man. Here we go again. Look what I just did. This is what happened to me last time. Is it going to pop up on the screen like this? Let me see. If I touch this. We're having trouble signing you in. I don't want to sign in. Loading. Okay, so as long as it's not messing. So as long as it's not messing with anybody, okay, that's what I'll do. So it's not popping up. Yo, dude, you like my name? Look at it as a 2-symbol word. Stupid. It's like stupid. Strupet. Okay. Are there any good restaurants within 50 miles of where you live? Yes. So Fort Smith's 30 miles from where I live. And then Poto, Oklahoma is about the same. So Oklahoma and so Poto is the place that I go to in Oklahoma. There's a town there, and then you got Fort Smith. Yeah, there's really good places to eat. They've got all your fast food chains, and you got little places, but yeah, for sure there's good. Okay, so let me go ahead and start this, and then I really won't answer anymore. Ruby Tuesday, what's up? Okay, here we go. So, Butner FMC. People are sent to Butner FMC for being sick, cancer, surgeries, operations, shoulder, knee, elbows, stuff like that. They go to the 3rd floor. Cancer patients go to the 4th floor. If you're going to die, you go up to the 5th floor. There's also a cadre unit inside Butner FMC. So actually, it's called the Butner Federal Correctional Complex. And within the federal complex, there's Butner FMC, medium 1, medium 2, the low, and the camp. Okay. So I was there back in 2007, and I returned on my violation here last year in 2024 because of cancer. Okay, I have recurring bladder cancer. So I ended up there, knew some guys that I did time with, so I knew people there. There was a guy there. I can't say his full name. He's still there, and this was an incident that happened. So I'm going to call him Wild Man. Wild Man is close to 60 years old, been in prison 30-something years. In a wheelchair, can walk, but in a wheelchair. He's one of these guys that are in wheelchairs that go real fast. So you can move with their feet real fast, so it looks like they're walking. It's kind of a weird deal. He's been to Marion. He's been to ADX. He's not like one of the fellas. You would think he's gay. From what I recall, I think he was from Money. I forgot exactly. Explosives or something. Damn, this case just came in front of my head. Anyway, so here's what goes on. This guy is a jailhouse lawyer. He's a filer. Filer meaning complains about stuff. Good stuff. Has helped people in prison get out. He knows policy. The best policy wonk I've ever met in prison is a guy named Bill Dunn. Bill Dunn's been in over 40 years. But anyway, so this dude, Wild Man, lived on, I guess that's not really important. But here's what happens. Some black dudes set out a leather case of some sort. I'm not sure if it was for folders. It was like a leather, more like a leather folder. Okay. Put it on the trash can. Now, if you ask me, when somebody puts something on top of the trash can, no matter what it is, it's usually free game because it's like a throwaway. So people will put cups, containers on top of the trash can for guys to get. So what ends up happening is somebody grabs it, takes it, and sells it. I never saw it, but supposedly it was nice. How much you got for it? I don't know, $20 or something like that, okay? So what happens is there's a big investigation. These black dudes are pissed. This is a range that had more black dudes than anything else. Um, Guys were mad. They were looking around and they find the guy that it was sold to, who then tells and say where he got it from. The guy who took it off the trash can was a sex offender, child sex offender, CHO-MO. Call them CHO-MOs. So, because of black-white issues, even though he was a CHO, the guys go to older guys that they know. Wildman is by no means a shot caller. He injects himself in any incident that may occur with anything to do with somebody white, but not a shot caller, okay? So they go to him because they know him, same range and all that. And he goes up to the guy and goes off on him, calls him every name in the book. And that dude agrees to pay, not the black dudes, but to pay Wildman 5 Skittles a week. Damn, I got the paper over there. Okay. 5 Skittles a week, which is like $2 a piece, let's call it. And an ice cream, pint of ice cream, which was $2.40, I think it was. So every week for, I think the total amount that he wanted him to pay was $50 back, okay? So sex offenders are typically scared. There are some that aren't, and there are some that'll fight, and there are some that can fight good, okay? Now, in the hospital, I have said this many times before, this is pretty much a neutral zone. There are fights that take place. There's men in prison, even though they're dying. Some of them going through cancer treatment, I should say. And there's a lot of sex offenders with cancer for whatever reason. Young, older, whatever. There's quite a few of them. I was shocked by the amount when I went back this time. Of course, it had been been like 15 years since I was there. But the Federal Bureau of Prisons is just filling up with mostly what they're called clickers, dudes that do download child images or whatever. I'm trying to be proper about all this, okay? So the way that they're treated in there, they do have one TV room, okay? There's a bunch, there's like there's like 3 different TV area, 1, 2, so about 3 different TVs on each range, if not more. I'm thinking of they put TVs in these little rooms that used to be for medical staff. So they have one TV. They're not allowed to go in any of the other ones, okay? So it doesn't matter if it's a black, Hispanic, whatever TV room. The sex offenders can sit outside and watch the TV. They cannot go in, okay? Except for one room, and that is actually on 4D, okay? So a day comes, commissary happens, and Wildman didn't get his 5 Skittles and ice cream, okay? So he comes up to me and just said, come here, back my play. I really didn't understand. I can see he was in some kind of mood. He is a drama queen. I'm going to emphasize that. He is a drama queen. But I had no idea where I was going, so I just follow him. He's, again, these guys in these wheelchairs. You ever seen the ones padded with their feet? Looks like they're walking, but sitting down. So he rushed. I got to almost trot behind him. And he goes up to this guy who's sitting on a walker. Now, walkers are also popular, especially in the hospital, but older guys tend to get walkers in prison. They're good to have as seats wherever you are. So they call some kind of shakedown, you got a seat. If you're if you're going to commissary, you've got a seat. So people get walkers for different reasons. This guy, the CHO-MO in question, is sitting in front of the TV room. It was actually a black TV room. And Wildman rushes right up to him, gets up out of the chair, and grabs this dude. He had a case of pen and pencils, like in his shirt or something. He grabs this pencil out of this dude's thing and said, Now, bitch, I'm going to get you with your own shit. And boom, ran it right in his leg. I mean, he buried that thing. Okay. I mean, just, it was such a trip because it happened so fast and it was something I did not expect. It was just totally, that was the last thing I expected, over 5 Skittles and an ice cream. So wild man gets to yelling, you think I'm a bitch, I'll F you up. I'll put you under the bus. I mean, he goes on. What scared me, tough talking. He scared me, all right? But he buried it in this dude. Like now, when I say buried, I mean, he definitely got, because they got the head in. For sure, it went in. Did the guy need stitches or nothing? No. I don't recall that. I don't know what he did afterwards, to be honest. Matter of fact, I'm going to say no because then they would have did an investigation and locked down or everything. But he threw pant leg. There definitely quite a bit of blood. So the guy immediately comes out of his pocket with flat books of stamps. Now, stamps in prison is currency. We use stamps. Prisoners use stamps for currency. And it's a real weird thing how it works. So what is I think a book of stamps, 20 stamps, a flat book of stamps, forever stamps. I think they're like 14 something right now, right? 1360, 1460, 1440, something like that. So guys do go buy those off the commissary. Once they get into the unit, the yard, whatever, the floor, those stamps, the value becomes I think a flat book was going for $7, but stamps go for like $5. You don't get into question, ask me how that all works. It doesn't really matter at this point. This is not, I mean, you guys can ask me questions, I guess, whatever. It's crazy to understand how that whole economy with the stamps works out, but it does. But anyway, so this guy reaches in and gives him 2 flat books of stamps, which is, he just got it for paid, that's equivalent of on the store $28 or whatever for what he owed him. And he thought that, maybe it was going to be a couple weeks worth or whatever. He took it. The dude took it from him and said, no, these are mine. These are mine for stressing me out. These are mine for stressing me out. And he complained about his leg and he said, fuck your leg, Anyway, I was going to do this in a little video earlier. And I just thought about it. I wanted to do a live tonight. I'm bored, to be honest. So I just thought I'd pop on. Don't really care about how long I'm going to stay on. I'll just kind of see how things go. And again, I know it's a quick story. Just one that I had in my notes. I'm going through notes and making, doing a bunch of different content for this month. And I just thought I'd run that one kind of quick on here tonight. Just kind of open it up and see, because what ends up happening later is then I get all lost in the comments. Now watch, that won't happen tonight because I brought it up. Let me see. Hold on. Big Rob, what's up? Let me go back. Okay, full tard. My evening's going well, thank you. Okay, so I missed that earlier, I think. Okay, how long was I in? I did. Danny Soul Family. You do like my name. Look at it as a 2-symbol word. Strupet. Dylan Thomas. Are there any good restaurant? Okay, yeah, okay, here we go. There you go. Say it with kind of accent. Stupid. Did the captain ever call you in and basically say drop the BP10 if you know what's good for you? I had the worst one as far, so this is what he's talking about, an administrative remedy. You file an administrative remedy, and the staff will tell you, I don't care, okay? If you know how to file, they care. It holds up bonuses. I know that from tagging a unit manager that was just out of her mind. So this is at Butner too, okay? I did file. I filed out of boredom in the shoe a lot, right, okay? So filing, that just means complaining about stuff. I didn't really go for the low level, just like I didn't get toilet paper or blah, blah, blah. I went for more serious ones. there was a time in the county jail when I first got this sentence in 97 that I became like a madman filer and just stupid stuff. And I learned a lot, kind of cut my teeth on how to file properly. So to answer your question, I have had the guy over the mailroom. Why can't I think of the name now? At Butner. Okay, let me think. This was at Butner too, and this is how it happened because this was kind of important. What was going on at the time was that I had a lot of media contacts, okay? So this came on the heels of me doing the Bernie Madoff interview, blah, blah, blah. I'm at Butner. This is 2011, Butner 2, 11 and 12. And I have people on the street that are running Facebook, social media, blogs, different stuff that I had. Two different people. Well, there's three actually. But anyway, so what had happened was they were sending me Facebook messages and stuff like that. So I had a Facebook account and then they'd forward them and then I would answer them. I would wake up, there would be like 60. No kidding. I mean, it took me an hour to respond and that sometimes I didn't get through. I was also on mail monitoring and email monitoring. So they held my email until staff can get there and review each individual one, okay? So there was a mail monitoring issue going on. A girl that just got out of Hazleton, some girl just fresh out writes me, okay, sends me a message, then wanted to pursue a correspondence, okay? So she sent me a letter and this letter gets stopped. And I had filed, oh, I know what it was. I filed on my mail. So I contacted the postmaster general in the area, and it was the institution that was holding up the mail, okay? And again, they're doing it to me because of media contacts. They hate media contacts. So they came to me, excuse me, I'm burping when I'm drinking soda. They came to me and they said, drop the BP, it wasn't even a 10 yet, it was a BP9. So you got a BP8, BP9, BP10, 11. So BP8 is to the counselor, BP9 is to the warden, BP10 is to region, BP11 is to central office, okay? So their goal, if it's really important, is to keep it in-house. At least, sometimes the region, it depends. If it's serious, they want to keep it in-house. They'll let it go to a 10. At times it can slip through the cracks too, okay? So they came to me and they said, drop the BP9 on the mail room about withholding mail, or we're going to send this letter to this girl's PO. We're going to send this letter to this chick's PO. Man, this was a good video, actually. And you know what? It'll probably come up because I got all my Butner files in there. I have Butner files. So I looked at them. I knew I had their ass, okay? And it was, I was asking for them, check this out, all to be retrained in the mail process, mail processing, on communications monitoring because they were violating laws. They didn't have, you're supposed to have a memo from the warden to put somebody on communications monitoring. They didn't. So I was nailing them through this mail complaint, this administrative remedy. They came and they told me that they were going to send that letter to that girl's PO and get her locked up. I didn't know the girl, okay? And I told them, why haven't you called her PO yet? I don't know her. That sounds shitty. What did I get out of that? They didn't. The girl didn't get violated, but she could no longer correspond with me. And what did I get? Oh, a transfer. That's what I got. I got transferred. That didn't work out too good for me, right? I got transferred. You fucked up dry snitching, DB Cooper. Are you talking about the you can go ahead and vent. I don't care. The black guys must have not been from DC or they would have been all over that sex offender for sex as repayment. No. Matter of fact, they were from DC. Okay. They were. And they didn't. They kept the racial thing going in the hospital. So I'm not saying somebody for sure. Yeah, I do know a black dude that just I know one that beat one up just for because, and I know one that intentionally moved in another guy's cell because he wanted that cell and then beat him up. But generally, they would go to the white guys in there. Yeah. Justin, all right, on. Hey, Rob, I'm sure there is more than one wild man, but are you referring to Sean Atwood's friend? No, no, I'm not. Brockton, Mass in the house. What's up, Rob? Greg, what's going on, bro? Okay, my man. Okay, Greg Parrott, free Karen Reed. Greg Paris, free Karen Reed. Who's Karen Reed? Why don't I know? Why don't I know this? Rooster, what's up? Yes, free Karen Reed for sure. I don't know who Karen. Oh, wait a minute. That's not that girl going through trial, right? Wait. Hope all is well with you. Okay, here we go. XX. I understand. Me too. Rob, I'll be right back. Good to see you. Right on. Okay. Rob, times have changed. Late 80s and 90s. You have been your room who have been ransacked, and you would. Uh, um, I'm not sure. So, the late 80s and early 90s. Your room would have been ransacked, and you would have been in the hole for an investigation. I got you. You're talking about filing. Yeah, times have changed that way. Now, like I said, they did. It ultimately led to being transferred. They looked for any reason to slow me down from writing, a, from writing. Period, because there was a lot of anti-BOP stuff. Okay, and it was. So I mean, I create. Looking back, yeah, I was. Yeah, I can say that I was fucking with them for sure. Uh, as far as stuff getting ransomed, so that'll happen too. Let me tell you something about Terre Haute, Terre Haute. When you go to Terre Haute, the first thing they say when you go in there is this is not the Bureau of Prisons. And you're like, what? This is Terre Haute. We do things our own way. That includes filing. Again, you can if you're hell bent on filing and you got a good issue, you can make it work. You know what I mean? You can. Is USP Allenwood still a dangerous place? So to be totally honest, I've never thought of USP Allenwood as a dangerous place. Now you will get people that say there's been things that popped off there, people have got killed there, but in general, that is not one of the places that you think of as being violent. Okay. Now I know there's guys that can come home with stories. I know that off the top of my head. My friend Swivel got in a big fight there. Um, so yeah, there's quite a few examples, I'm sure, but just to think of it like a Leavenworth back in the day, or a Big Sandy, or a Hazelton, or even a Lompoc or Lewisburg in their time, it never got that rep that I've that ever. It's never been one of those spots. In fact, people would say it was sweet, and Lewisburg was sweet. I'm here. I'm ready to crash. I'm up at 4. I'll ride on. Big Jim Tobin, what's up? Okay. Arngren Anderson, what's going on? Augusta. Yes, Karen Reed. Okay, that's that trial. So that's the girl that allegedly killed the cop, or the cops did it, right? I just watched some of that trial yesterday. I probably, it wasn't a waste. I was going to say wasted an hour and a half of my life watching it. It wasn't a waste. But I did watch some of it. Um, she hangs the jury again. They're not gonna bring it back. And I do believe, yeah. So I saw a jury say in the beginning, like all of them thought she was not guilty. One of the first jurors or something like that. Whether she did or didn't, she got a great defense. Do you think Luigi will be found guilty and put to death by the feds? I think he's going to go to trial. I think that he's got that media bug. So let me tell you something else, and this is full disclosure, right? When you're in prison, and you do something like write and get interest of people on the outside, you feel like you're doing something. It's not even it's not it's like you feel like you've got like a purpose, you know. I can go all the things I did wrong, but it's an awesome feeling to. I guess you don't feel like you're forgot, left about. I know people will bitch and say prisoners shouldn't have access to writing and publishing. That cat's out of that bag now. But it's so my point of even bringing that up. So this dude has got like, I mean, he's probably got marriage proposals and you know, so he's on that rock star status right now. He's going to trial. I do believe that. In this administration, they're gonna want to push the death penalty. Now, will he get the death penalty? We're gonna get somebody liberal in there again. We're gonna get, you know, an anti-death penalty person. But you know, this could be a case where there's somebody on the jury. They're ultimately going to get him. Do I think he's going to? I think he's going to go to trial, and I think he will get the death penalty in the feds. I don't see a scenario in which he will cop out and plead guilty because of the public support. That dude's got big public support, right or wrong, you know. Rob, since you've been free from prison, do you ever wish you were back at times? Why and what triggers it? No, not whatsoever do I wish I was back. I'm sure that I missed structure. Look, I can tell you now more than ever why my life has ended up the way it is. And this isn't blaming. There's no blame. No, there's no. It starts with foundation, you know, from childhood. But like I want to make this clear. I've always said one thing. I've always said this repeatedly. Anytime that I have, I was spoiled rotten as a kid. Not a rich kid by no means. I grew up in a lower income neighborhood with a middle income to upper middle income, whatever, family, whatever, and didn't want for nothing. Spoiled rotten, youngest baby boy, only boy. Okay, youngest out of all dozens of cousins, 40, the youngest out of that. So I was super spoiled, and that plays a part. And I listen. I watch philosophers, psychologists, psychiatrists, old ones, Carl Jung, however you want to say it, Jung, Jung. I've got this dude pegged. I got him pegged. I've got this dude pegged. As an armchair psychologist, I've got this dude pegged. But in watching, what's the channel? In watching these channels, he talks about shadows, okay? The shadows are the fragments of a person, the bad parts, all the bad parts. He talks about these shadows, okay? I'm going to go somewhere. So, but he talks about what archetypes, I guess it is personality types, archetype, and I don't have the actual terminology down yet. But there's one type of individual that he described, and I was just floored from childhood to right now, to right this second. All my relationships, friends, lovers, wives, drugs, and I was stupefied. And it hurt. And they didn't tell you the good part if you do good. They didn't tell you that until the end. And I was like, for 20 minutes, I was freaking traumatized. And yes, I believe in that stuff. Now, you know, we're all built differently, whatever. Rob, since you've been free. So, no, I don't miss it. Prison's easy. Prison can be easy, okay? No responsibility. You know, you do need money in prison to survive. It helps. I mean, you actually don't need it because they give you the basics. Well, it's Cimarron they do. Cimarron, you don't even need to buy soap, shampoo, even though I don't buy shampoo, maybe for my back hair. But they don't, you don't need nothing. All those products work. The deodorant worked, the soap was good. Everything that you need, like hygiene-wise, was there. The food was decent, just small portions. But that's not a life, That was my life. I talk about it on YouTube, so I'm still, talking about prison. Some can say that's wrong. Some can say that's bad for me. There's an argument to be made. We'll see where I go with it. We'll see where I go, and we'll see if I fall back. I'm not going back to prison. I'll tell you that right now. What do you think is the most likely crimes and circumstances to get a death sentence? DeGosta. I don't think murdering fellow gang members should be a death penalty crime. I don't. Or biker clubs or mob stuff. Okay, I don't. I just don't. Hurting women and children and doing bad things to them for sure, or to a male. Okay, child sex crimes that involved terrible stuff. Whack them. I am very, very big now on seeing that criminal justice reform starts early. We have to do something about the people that harm children. I was put in a position when I got out of prison for a child advocacy group, Saving Children and Reviving Souls. My friend started it up here. The conflict him and I had, full disclosure, was that my brain at that time was, I'm going to do criminal justice reform. This YouTube channel started off telling prison stories with the overarching purpose, I guess, the big picture plan was to criminal justice reform. Even telling stories about all the drugs in prison and stuff like that. Need for criminal justice reform. He wanted me to, because he's busy and got a lot of things to do. It was like my baby to play with if I wanted. He really wanted me to start with, look, this is where it starts. It starts with kids. There's really, really bad things that happen as far as sex trafficking, single parent, especially if the mom's promiscuous. I'm being nice. In the drug life, guys coming in to the kids, to a family with no father, or a father that's absent, taking advantage of kids. There's so much that needs to be done, and the penalties for hurting a kid. Now, it should be just the worst. It is tough because kids lie. I've watched documentaries about a place in Canada where these kids were all talking about they're being brought to this farm and this is all happening. It was all BS. It was all BS. Cops were arrested and everything else. So that's the difficult part. There's blatant cases of people that don't get enough time or probation, especially at state levels. We can talk. There's some appropriate penalties, but too many times people get off with little or no time. Still, the clicker thing that they're doing in the feds, getting these guys with the internet porn stuff, that's just, I'm not advocating for those people. I'm saying that they only do it because it fills up bed space. It's easy. Okay, I'm an FBI agent. Oh, somebody said I was an undercover FBI agent. Okay, so let's pretend I'm an FBI agent who knows actually about computers. Okay, where are the pervers at today? Here's the pervs, here's the perv. Okay, there's one. Okay, so they get everybody who downloaded. How easy, if you knew the computers, how easy is that to do? So then there's 100 cases, we can arrest 100 people right now. Okay, let's put them on the back burner until we need to execute warrants. Go get them, for the bed spaces up. Like crack back in the day when they did the crack laws. They didn't get the big fish. They didn't go after. It was user first, crumb crunchers. The guy that sat on the wall, waited for the 20 to come, went to a door. That dude took the 20, then went to another's door, copped the 20. Then he'd go back to him and the guy that got the 20 in the first place would smoke a hit together, and then they'd bring the person in the car. That guy was getting busted. You know, that guy was going to prison in the feds for life or 20 years. That's what they're doing now with these sex things. That's it's bullshit. It's just filling up bed spaces. And statistically, man, and I'm not advocating. Damn, it sounds like I am. Statistically, they don't. That's not like a precursor for everybody to go out and touch and do something bad. And I know it. This sounds bad me saying this right now. I see it. I see what they're. Listen, let me back up. Some of them absolutely need to be locked up, and you can just tell, or for sure, okay. One of the things that came to mind was this one dude. So I knew one person. This is getting way off. That actually started one of these sites, kiddie porn stuff, that had a porn site. Very popular guy in North Carolina. I forgot what. This dude had the girls this guy had come visit him, his wife, his girlfriends. I mean, this dude can pull it. He was pulling all of them, right? He did it as a business thing. He almost got beat up even at Butner 1 because he was hanging out with the fellas. He was in the drug program. I forgot how that worked. No, he wasn't in the drug program. He called himself Hollywood too, by the way, and I don't know why. Said he was in for firearm charges or something. But at the end of the day, it was he knew computer stuff and set up this site where they'd go to like a girl's private part on a normal porn site, and they'd push like a nipple, and then it would go to something younger. And he got 10 years for building that site. So I can see like nailing dudes that put sites up like that. You know what I mean? But it's going back to the death sentence. Louisiana tried to get people that do bad things to children, and the Supreme Court said no. Maybe I think there might be one going up now, or there might be a state doing it. This Supreme Court would absolutely go for that. But going back to my original message, there has to be something more done, starting to try to find out how many more kids something's happening to in the home that nobody knows about. I can't believe the mothers that do stuff to their children too. So that's where it all starts. That's where the damage starts that leads to the cycles of addiction, and that's what I believe. Okay. Richard Dowling, what's up? Allegedly, the family of the Kappas were corrupt. Allegedly, that family of cops. Oh yeah, the trial. You're right. Any good stories from Con Air, like it being first time some people flew? Oh, dude. So, yeah, right when I got transferred to Butner, there was a black dude, financial crime, lived in Missouri. He was like a financial fraud guy, I think. Married to a lady in England, a white lady in England, was a black dude. He was convinced that they were not going to fly him to New York, that it was going to be a bus ride. When we were in the holding tank, they told me and him to sit at the front of the bus because he thought we were going to Springfield. We were leaving from Core Civic by Oklahoma City. He thought we were going to Springfield, Missouri, which would be like a 4 or 5 hour ride or something. I was telling him I was designated to Butner. He's like, look, they can't bring me to Butner because I can't go on a bus. Here we go. They took me out first. They get everybody off the plane. And they go to this guy, and like a group of marshals goes to him. First, they were nice. Then they started dragging him. They put him on that private jet with me. I was on a private jet with that guy. They ended up sedating him. They shot him with junk because he was screaming, yelling. They hit him with 2 different doses of medication. That was comical as fuck. That was so funny. And even when they were getting him off the plane in New York, that's why we had to go to New York. That's why I did a audio from prison about, it was like one of the better days in prison because they flew me. We got to see the Baltimore Bridge collapse over Philly for whatever reason. Did we see Boston? I saw, but the best of all was to see the New York skyline because I never have. and we flew like the Statue of Liberty was right there. So we flew around a couple times because he had to wait to land at some smaller airport. I forgot what it was. But that dude, when they drug him off, it was funny too. A lot of guys freak out. You can see a lot of dudes on Con Air that are freaking out. I will say this. When we left Leavenworth, and I say we, Dirty White Boys, there was 6 of us. I was on that show, Transporting Dangerous Cargo, on the History Channel. So I'm actually on there when I was young. It was 2002 October, and the camera crews followed us on that plane. And the marshals, they would come around. Excuse me, sir. Do you need to use the restroom? Would you like some water? They did it for the cameras. You know, not that all didn't really get in there that good. I haven't seen that clip in years, but it was such BS. They don't treat you like that on the plane. Can only go to the bathroom when they start, but it was so fake. Any other good ones? No, I've seen dudes get brought in masks with not a mask, a bag over their head from their spitters. They bring those dudes on. They bring them to the back of the plane. If you start talking to the girls and there's too much communication, they'll move you to the back of the plane. That was a big deal. I remember when I first got on to Con Air I didn't know I was going to Leavenworth at the time, but they put me on and it was crowded. I was like right with the girls. Yeah, that was my first trip. But anyway, that's all. Let me see. I don't think she did, but that's my opinion. Okay, we're talking about the girl. Where he passed on at the family house in Snow Park. They know. Okay, I got you. Here we go. I got that. And I did get your email, and I did see that it was in your junk, and I'm going to respond because I was going to ask you. You brought this up already, but I want just a few things. I think he has a good jurisdiction. Murder is a straight state crime. So he's getting charged in both jurisdictions, right? The feds have him first. Usually the feds would want him first. Yeah. Well, they can do either way. So you would want to actually get sentenced in the Fed first because the feds won't run it with the state. Did I get that right? Yes. Jurisdictional issues. So if they can prove that he had an intent, he crossed state lines, the gun, where was the gun that's when you're talking about making it federal, you know? You know what? I haven't looked at that actually, but there's so many ways to if they want you, they're going to get you. You know what I mean? Her lawyers are especially Alan Jackson. There's way too much inconsistencies with the cops. Witness every day is getting caught lying. Okay, the Reed case. Thanks, Craig. Yes, Carl Jung is good, dude. Like I said, I'm just there's so much, you know. There's so much with Carl Jung. There's so much. This is what I will say about Jung. That whole shadow thing can be very simplified. Native Americans had it right. This is what it all comes down to. This is what it's easier said than done. Natives had it right. There's a good wolf and there's a bad wolf in everybody. If you feed the good wolf, the bad wolf will always be there and gets hungrier and hungrier, but will always be there. That's the same thing what Carl Jung is talking about when it comes to the shadows. Now, he gets way more in depth, but it's the same principle. And really, if you want to go back, he's getting a lot of it. It's just another way of saying the devil inside of you. In a religious context, they'd say it was a devil inside of you doing it. It all ties together. We can play words. We can get real technical. We can pull a bunch of psychological BS, which I like, by the way. But yeah, I just learned something the other day. It stopped me from pursuing the addiction and recovery stuff in the way that I was going to go. Still every day, I think about it, and I don't know exactly how I want to do it. I don't. It would be awesome if you can go on Jordan Peterson's show. Gosh, I don't know who Jordan Peterson is. Greg, yes. Okay. Spirit of New Orleans. I read all of Carl Jung's books. U.S. Anderson writes the best books about. Oh, I just saw something about Anderson. I just saw that today. Today it was mentioned on one of these. So they quote different psychologists and stuff is what it was. So I'm kind of stuck on Jung right now because of one video, because it was just, it's my whole life. He in one archetype, I guess it was my entire life, and it was shattering. It was shattering. I ain't gonna lie. Spirit of New Orleans. Roy, I was never in prison as an inmate, but I had to go there to interview people for work. I hated the smell. It was weird for me. Okay, Roy, so interview people, you're either law enforcement, journalist, whatever. Absolutely. Absolutely. There's a smell. There's a smell to all prisons. There is. You got humans in a cage. And I hate to, I said this before, I hate to, walking past a girl's wing smells the worst. It does. Sometimes that can be good. You know what I mean? You just want to smell the stink. But you know what I'm saying? But yeah. Yeah, you shouldn't know. Death penalty for, no. It's the number one rule here, Richard Dowling. Whoa. Okay, I'm not. Number one rule here. Oh, here in Ireland. It's the number one rule here in Ireland. Okay, I messed. I don't believe the death penalty for anyone. Too many innocent people convicted. Okay, Roy. So I get it. I get your argument. So I sound like I'm contradictory when I say that I'm for the death penalty, but against life without parole. But I always make sure everybody understands that doesn't mean I think that everybody should be out. But I think there should be opportunities for sure. I do. I've been there. I have seen guys that I know wouldn't get out and bust a grape. Unfortunately, people like me who have life sentences get out and then violate, even though I don't agree with the violation for being an addict, but we can get it. We can go down that road all day, and we can go back and forth, whatever. As a matter of fact, I was doing something about not enough. What the video I was going to do earlier is what does an addict do in prison if he wants help? Blah blah blah. Because there's now some other options, but anyway, that's a different day. Whoa! How come priests are exempt? How come priests are exempt? You've got a good point, because they're part of the Vatican, which is its own country, and who knows? Man, that whole priest thing sucks. Catholics got a bad rap over it, but it's not just about Catholics. Look at the Boy Scouts. I think that people also need to really look at everybody who is a Boy Scout master, or Boy Scout leader master, is even Little League. I think people that are responsible for children need to be looked at differently and held to a higher standard when it comes to penalties. That should be enhancements that they should absolutely mandatory minimum. If you want a mandatory minimum, that's what should be if you hurt kids. That's where it all starts, people. That's where it all starts. Now, there's other cases, people born psycho, other factors that happen, but you can go back time and time again, and we've kind of got it, So why not enforce more? Probably because a lot of the politicians and stuff are into stuff like that. That's been one of the things people said. And big prosecutor up here a couple of years back, well, I forgot how many years ago now. Main prosecutor, hard prosecutor, had a father and a son that got a case, and they were pimping out the son afterwards. He got 7 years for that. A prosecutor that had the case and took advantage of. They found the what was it, Daniel's shoe? I don't want to mess up Daniel's shoe's name. I forgot which one it was. Okay. Those Catholics are the worst. I can't go there. I was born and raised Catholic. I'm baptized Catholic. I don't believe in death penalty. Too many innocent people are convicted. That's what I was going to say. So too many innocent people convicted. I do believe it's gotten better. We can go back about race back in the day. We can talk about a lot of different things. By the way, Trump, the first person that they executed was a white supremacist, Cyclops. They did that for a reason, because then anybody after them, then there wouldn't be any blowback from the African-American community, is what I'm trying to say. I think was well thought out. I think that's what they did. I'm not saying, I didn't mean well thought out like it was the right thing to do. I'm saying that's what he was like, they put him up there first because of that label he had on him. But so Roy, what's the alternative to that? He goes to prison for life, where I know people that don't understand, can't comprehend it, but you can build a life for yourself in prison. And you can experience simple pleasures in prison, okay? So let's look at somebody. Okay, I'm going to give you an example. The family members that step in front of the podium when something bad happens to their child, okay? So let's say their daughter was found and bad stuff happened to her daughter, okay? Then they get on TV and they say, the death penalty is too good for that SOB. I want him to rot in prison where he has to think about what he did every day. Sorry, the sound of laughter far outweighs the sound of blood-curdling screams in prison. Lots of drugs in prison if you want to party. Lots of booze. Become a writer, painter. I know that those don't sound like, and it's not a good place, and I'm not trying to say it's okay. I'm trying to say to the family members that people believe that those guys are in prison suffering every day because of what they did to your family, they're not. It's not like that. I'm not going to say they don't have bad days. I'm not going to say they didn't screw their whole lives up and they're not watching their kids grow up. They're not watching their kids grow up, or they miss their kids growing up. They don't get to share, they don't get to have freedom like people on the outside. But to sit there and believe is nonsense. And might I add that the serial sexual rapist, do you know what they're in prison doing? You know what they're recreating that fantasy over and over again and living with it every day. That's what they're doing. That's what those sick SOB. I heard sick sex offenders at Butner mock their victims, say that it was my daughter, in the Bible, it doesn't matter. I've heard these guys say this. I was in a law library clerk, and there's a screen and stuff because they were different. It was, dude, it was crazy. So that's Roy. That's why I do believe in the death penalty. Okay. I, at times in my prison bit, was very comfortable. Again, that doesn't mean it was good. I'm not trying to say that. A person can make somewhat of an existence for themselves in prison. Okay, that's what I'm trying to get at. Well, Google intentionally leaves legal stuff online and even spills it into the photo collection. Does it? What? Okay. So I'm not really, I don't know. So you're saying like child stuff or whatever. I believe in the death penalty. Absolutely. All they do is suck off taxpayers' dollars, especially if open and shut case. By the way, not only do I believe in the death penalty, they need to crank the death penalty up, meaning all that 20 years waiting and stuff like that. Bogus. They can fast track some of that stuff. I get that our legal system's screwed up and crowded. I do believe we have a good legal system, by the way. Terribly flawed in many areas, but our system in general, although it's become a plea bargain system, Okay, there we go. We're all over. We're all over. Hobby. Let's see. People in the porn world would traffic human. Yes. Yeah. So again, like that guy that built the site, I thought that he should have got lump. The mother equals Ted Bundy. Do you believe in afterlife or ghosts? So, yes. Yes, I believe that it's all about energy, okay? That's what I believe. I believe God is energy. That energy can look like a human. That energy can look like a lightning bolt. That energy could have been one of the forces behind the Great Bang Theory. That can still go. Science and religion can actually walk hand in hand, I do believe. I shouldn't say religion. Well, anyway, but I don't believe, I personally don't, okay? Um, in a place where we're gonna go in an afterlife if you do well, and like a heaven, like the heaven in the Bible kind of thing. Okay, that's I don't believe in that, um, but I reserve the right to change my opinion at any given time based on the knowledge that I uh, acquire as I go through my self journey for the rest of my life. You know what I mean? Hope that was okay. Feds can charge a murder also as a violation of one's civil liberty. There you go. There you go. Yes. Conducting shadow work is great. Scientologists call it auditing. Hey, Rob, look. What's up, Primo? Thank you. Did you meet any guys who would not answer to their name but tell the COs that the only answer to a number? Never. No, no, never did. Rob, do you go on Instagram? I have an Instagram account. Um, I have a Facebook account that by the way, on my personal one, I deleted a bunch. But I got the Convict Inc. page too. But I haven't really done much with them, you know. Uh, and I can tell you why it doesn't really matter. So no, I don't go look on Instagram. No, no, I don't. Um, but I have the account. I did shut down my TikTok just because it didn't matter. The notifications that I shut off on it, it did not matter. I still got these little numbers every day. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And it's just I didn't do it and I'm just done with it, you know? Yeah, that's what I have to say about that. Anderson's an awesome rider. Little Nick, what's up? The smell is simple green and wax. In prison, ooh, or could be funk too. Depends going in some of those hallways when you're walking and stuff. When you went in Leavenworth for the first time, it was like an old musty basement. You can never forget the smell of Leavenworth when you walk in. An old musty basement. That's what it was like walking. There's like the wall's huge. There's like this little door you go through, and then boom, you're downstairs. Yeah, that's what it was like. Mr. Eric Frost told an incredible story the other day about how he got caught. It sounded like the original target in his case was a wealthy guy who inherited millions and used lots. Really? Okay. The prison system is a business. That's bottom line. That is absolutely true. It's great for economical purposes. Look at the people when you try to shut down a prison and they're like, people picket and they freak out. It's these coal mining towns that have no more coal, Big Sandy. They needed jobs, and it unfortunately so when they stopped really going, like the crack thing stopped. Obama came in. He did reduce the size to like 150 or less, and more sex offender. I don't know what it's up to right now. I don't know what it's up to. Um, it does look. I'm really glad right now because it does look like this administration is targeting big drug dealers as opposed to going from the little guy up. That's what it seems like. And I'm glad about that. Drugs and the feds wanted to rob him of his inheritance via. Okay, I got you. I got you. Yeah, they will do that. Absolutely. Yeah, they'll do that. Yeah. No, I know about that. Roy Khan, thank you. I thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. Uh, I would watch that. I would watch that. Oh, what Argentina? Did you guys ever see? Was it Argentina? Yeah, that's when they had a. So did you ever see the story about the German? Damn it, what's it called? I just watched this the other day. So the Germans had a this area they built like this little paradise. Um, but what was it? What was what was the Argentina president? Pinchot. What? I can't think of his name right now. So they were using that colony inside Argentina. Yeah, it was Argentina. It wasn't Bolivia. And they were torturing people under there and killing people. But that dude was another sick child abuse thing going on there too. It's those religious cults. David Koresh, young girls involved there. Hey, I need your wife. God said your wife needs to go to. It's like all about. It ends up being about sex, right? Did Jim Jones, was he doing the sex thing too? So there's weird shit that goes on with that, you know. Okay, yeah, I'd watch that for sure. Roy, thank you. I really appreciate that. Primo, nice. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of politicians that are pet 100%. Word on the street is that Negro would stick his junk through the bean slot. Little Nick, that's 100% true. That's not a rumor. Don't let anybody ever tell you that's a lie. He 100% so. An Emmy shot caller, Emmy, Mexican Mafia, Black Hand, the mob, Mexican mob, at Lewisburg before Chino came. Or was Chino the so this is there was another one that came, another shot caller. There was a Sereno that decided he was done with gang life and he wanted to be himself, which was a girl. That's what happened, okay? And he wanted to go back out to the compound and he had to go through Negro to do it. And Negro was an orderly and he would go downstairs and he would stand by the bean slot and put his thing through the bean slot. That did happen. Don't let anybody ever say you did. I was there when it happened. There. And I was there when Negro and the dude got out, and it was $5 of stamps. $5 of stamps for oral. I don't know because he was putting it out there, and there was a line. There's a line of people. Yeah. I believe if violence wasn't so high in the 80s and 90s, most of those draconian laws wouldn't exist. Yeah, and then look. Thank you, Primo. Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. That's where the bell just went off, wasn't it? Yeah, that's what it was. Okay. I appreciate it. Thank you. Uh okay. I am white MAGA guy, but why are 50% of the people on death row black while they only make up? Oh, hey, Roy. No, listen. I'm not here to say that. Okay. So let me stop. Um, I think a lot of them, it's economic situations. They're poor and they're state levels, and you get a state level public offender that are not federal defenders. Always get a federal defender if you get busted or in trouble. Don't get a private lawyer for federal. Do not ever get a private lawyer. So they get lawyers, even the ones that are sympathetic and are against the death penalty and stuff. So maybe high crime neighborhoods, lower social economic situations, bad attorneys. And I have to, so there was, how do I put this? I don't think there's a denying that in poor neighborhoods there's more crime than in middle to upscale, because that's something that we can agree on, because I'm trying to not to be. I think there's other reasons why that aren't just race-based anymore. I think that people are prejudiced. I think we're naturally prejudiced. I think that prejudice can be overcome through relationships with others, whatever. So I'm not saying there's not prejudice or discrimination still. I just think when it comes to the death penalty, that's what we're talking about, that the advances that they have, DNA testing, it's not like fingerprint testing or gun testing. Carmine Persico is really, really thought fingerprints was BS, thought it was all BS, but I think DNA's got it pretty much on point now. So if it's specifically a crime, yeah. And I think that people in high crime areas that are poor are easier to get caught too. I do. Well, we go back to the crack thing, okay? How easy was it for jump out boys or cops to bust crack dealers? Look for the guy with the new shoes and the chain on his neck, or driving a Mercedes in a bad area that lives there. I mean, it was easy. It was super, super easy, okay? Again, that's the crack thing was like the sex clickers today. It was easy. They didn't have to do much work. It was easy, you know? Yeah, anyway, nice, Primo. Thanks. Great point about the death row inmates that are not suffering as much. People, they're not. They're not. Again, I've known hundreds of lifers. Yes, I know guys that got the lifer stare and were, just existing. A lot of them had a life in prison. Again, it's not a life that we're designed to have, or a great life or a good life, but a lot of smiling lifers, a lot of smiling lifer murderers. Okay, not running around going, "Damn, I wish I hadn't killed that girl." Oh my God, I think about her every day. Oh, it's every day. No, if you ever see somebody, a family member, and you know one, please talk to them. Please tell them that that's not true. Okay, please tell them that's not true. Okay, I've seen that. So, I will tell you my experience with porn. Never saw porn till I got out. Like that. So if you hit something, it goes into one subject, talking about threesomes, or you're talking about this, it gets younger. What is this 18-year-old shit that pops up all the time? Why would I want 18 years old? I'm 55. What the fuck? You know what I mean? That gets really weird. Yeah. So I can see that. Oh, and if you really look at those thumbnails, then, or the ones in foreign countries, they're not 18. So stop it. So, stay away. Be aware. Don't click on the wrong thing. England used to use chemical castrate. So that was what did it do? Did they still get out and reoffend because now they're pissed because they didn't have any stuff in them? I read about it in an appeal where the defendant hired okay, I missed this one. Okay, I'm not okay. I read about an appeal. I'm trying to connect work because I know I'm behind. Everything is a plea bargain. I used to be a PD. Okay, and all we did was sit behind doors and cut deals with prosecutors and judges drinking. Roy, I believe you, and thank you for admitting that. Police detective or private, what doesn't matter. I was thinking of PD. I was kind of thrown off. I'm used to COs, right? Yeah, it's all plea bargain. Police detective. Yeah. So how many people, Roy, I'm sure that you're police detective, I hope, not public. I mean, not a private detective. Anyway, if you were a police detective, how many people snitch? Give me 1 out of 10. How many people snitch? If I'm getting that. Investigators are the best use of money. There it is too. And it doesn't help. Now, if you're trying to pay for an attorney, if you're in the feds and try to pay for an attorney, get a PI, find out who your judge's friends are. Don't go, I'm not talking about spying on the judge for weird to blackmail. Find out who his friends are. Find out who he golfs and drinks with. Great trial attorneys who are detailed oriented and good on their feet are priceless. So, Roy, again, so my experience is that the federal defenders, there are a lot of plea bargainers too, but there's some good trial attorneys. There's always one in the office for sure that's like a really good trial attorney, but they know it's all guidelines and statutes, and it's pretty fixed in the feds as opposed to the state. It's hard to get deals made like that through a private attorney. Again, if you research your judge, it'll be easier. The smell of those prisons grossed me out. No, you weren't a wuss. You're normal. Thank you. Pinochet, however you say it. Thank you, Roy. Yes, that's who I was talking about. Yes, that's what I was talking about. Thank you. Colonial, whatever, however you say it. Lewisburg smelled like fresh paint. Yeah. What about when they do the accreditation, when they audit everything? What BS is that, man? So these people, these auditors come in and they're checking to make sure everything's running right in the prison. Try to go talk to one of them and tell on the prison staff. See what happens to you. See what happens. Paul Schaefer, he was an SS officer during World War II. Okay, there you go. Okay, yes, that's right. Paul Schaefer, that was the one who started it, right? So he was pimping it, but he was also on it too. Yes, Little Nick. Yes, he did. Yes, you're talking about Negro. Yes. Okay, so it was in Chile, wasn't it? So it was in Chile. Was it in Chile or was it in Argentina? I think maybe it was, whatever. It wasn't one of them. F off. I wish that the prisons I went into smelled like paint. Yeah. Okay, yes. Mixed up the South American dictators. All good. Same Spanish knots. Last FBI, 13% of the population accounts for 68% of all crime. Rob, why aren't they offering Epstein's girlfriend a sweet deal to tell everything? They offer deals to guys like Gravano and El Chapo's kids to tell us. Why? I think she said no. Man, I thought Bondi was going to come out with bombshells about that case. What is going on? They said they would. Did they ever come out? I don't even know. But I thought like heads were going to roll off that. And I said it on the chat. People are saying nothing's going to happen, Rob. Maybe Spirit of New Orleans. But yeah, low-hanging fruit. That's right. Forget about the death penalty. Why do pretty young women mostly found not guilty of murdering their husbands, boyfriends? Because looks matter when it comes to everything. And let's not pretend ourselves. Look at all these beautiful teachers that are having sex with these young kids. Some like 11, 12. Dude, and from a guy's point of view, what do we say? God bless him and stuff, but you can't. You can't. And it does screw you up, I think, probably sexually later. Maybe have I don't know. I don't know. Young, attractive women. Because they're attractive and they're too beautiful to kill. Only the ugly ones kill, right? That's what happens. Human nature. We're sick animals. We're animals, Truth. Michael, it's going good. It's going good. Thank you. By the way, Primo. By the way, Michael Miller. I should have a visitor. Mike should be here Friday. Probably Saturday. Friend of mine, you guys have seen him on this show before. He has a friend that lives in Ozark, which says an hour and 9 minutes from my house. I beg to differ. My car was running well. It's about 45 minutes, maybe 40. Just depends. Yeah, motorcycles he's bringing. We'll see. Mr. Cohn, I tried to disagree. Mr. Cohn, I tried to disagree. A good trial lawyer will not help you in the feds. I had Mike and Dick out of Houston. They didn't help at all. I'm telling you. Um, okay, so what he's saying? Yes, there are beast trial lawyers. I get it. If you're going to go to trial, just understand that as far as a deal, now I'm what our system's all about. It's not going to make a difference in the long run. I always tell people, don't waste your money. Primo said it right. PI is the way to go. And I would always research the judge. I remember when asset forfeiture came into play, that TV show Cops in Miami had a sting operation in which undercover was selling cannabis, and everybody who pulled up had their car seized. Yeah. So let me tell you something about that. I tell people, I have been telling people in the criminal life that I know, and I do know people in that life, okay? Criminals are so dumb because we don't watch and follow the news and politics. Why did I say we again? Me as a former criminal. Keeping up with laws, all that stuff's really super important. I guess they wouldn't be a criminal if they're keeping up with law and politics, all right? But I always tell everybody that. So back when they started the forfeiture thing in the 80s, I got a brand new Jeep Cherokee. Limited. No, that wasn't the limit. Brand new Jeep Cherokee. I'm 18 years old. Drugs. And we were under the impression that if a cop pulled you over and said, no tolerance, like they just got to yell no tolerance, they can search your vehicle if you even got like a joint on it. The rumors that we told ourselves in those circles back in the day were stupid. Nobody took the time to go read the law about it or even asked one of my friends. Well, I guess there was a reason. I was going to say I knew a lot of people whose parents were attorneys and stuff like that where I grew up. Yeah, there's a reason why we didn't ask them. But yeah, anyway. The truth, very neat. Alabama uses chemical castration. How does that work out overall? So, okay, that sounds great. Yes, boom, castrate them. Do they go out and reoffend again? That's what I'd like to know. I know they can't do that, but you know what I mean? Do they go out and reoffend again? That's something I'd look at, like the clicker thing. I was shown stats on that I got into an argument at Butner won, I think it was. I think that was one of the fights I got into that Joey intervened about clickers being, that just all, so you just guys haven't got caught yet was basically my position. You're looking because you want to, because you're fantasizing and that's where you're going next. And then somebody whipped out statistics and it was like, what? The clickers didn't equal touchers like I thought. I don't know the numbers and the stats now, but I was shocked by it. And that's many, many years ago. But huge fan of Spirit of New Orleans. Very neat. Anthony Hodges, what's up, Rob? My cousin Bobby was on Butner with Persico back in the day. He said they played bocce ball together. Do you remember anyone from VA? When you just said VA, so do you know what year? I remember somebody named Bobby from VA that was at Butner at the drug program. If it was the same guy, and he came back on a violation too. I can't think of who it was. And then there were some West Virginia guys. But Carmine played bocce up until the summer of 2008. That's really when. Matter of fact, he played in 08. It would stop after 08. Yeah. I was there when he stopped. Public defender. Okay. Some people say the truth is John Wolfe. However, some other people say the Spirit of New Orleans is actually John. Yeah, I don't get on into all that part. Spirit of New Orleans because they are clueless busybodies who will never know the truth about how the truth is John Wolfe. And some of the people are currently infected with AIDS. Yeah, okay. Wolfie, you are a busy guy. Wow. Spirit of New Orleans, the truth. Okay. They can only speculate. Chow is a Mob 2 original word. Only true fanboys of Angel know the true fallout and lost membership. Oh, are you saying Angel lost membership? Since Angelitis began. I liked your tall Paul story, Rob. Thank you, Michael. I, dude, I went back over. So people are telling me to repost old stories. Is that a thing? I think one of, I forgot who, but I was going back. Two things. Number one, I was really sad. I was really sad. I was really sad after watching him. That wasn't one of the two things, but I was sad because I saw somebody who came out of prison with so much promise and such opportunities. Not saying I can't get them back. I'm working on it. But I saw who had so much. And I can see the decline. Forget the mob stuff. Forget. I can go back and pinpoint certain things about me. And I watched videos that came out. And then, of course, the wife thing, that all fucking sucks. Seeing in the videos, it sucked. But anyway, so those stories that came out of there, you could see them get shorter because people were complaining about being too long sometimes. That all played on my brain a bit. Yeah. Anyway, so I went back and I was watching it about two dudes that died that I knew. It was called Something's Gotta Change. And I did a video off of it, but it was too flat. I didn't like it. That was going to be posted earlier. Anyway, I'm going to get back to that. So I'm just looking at it. They are upset at I heard about that. Argentina. So it was in Argentina. Thank you. I appreciate it. Primo, I disagree with your politics, but you are a good guy and salute your service. Right. Okay, Roy. I think Epstein was a spy. I don't understand, JT. I turn it off when I see it. I find his humor boring. I have the best sock accounts, and that is the truth. Fair enough, everyone, but I am totally independent. Haven't voted since Carter. Two-party since Carter. Was a huge fan of Ross Perot for 16 years. Hey, Rob, Roy, and John W. King Dom. By the way, I found you on Facebook. I don't think I clipped you. So that was my personal account. Old messages. So I'm going to go back and there's a ton of old stuff that have to do with the YouTube, but I put the connection together because it's not under your name. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to do that. But I just found that. So I started removing Facebook accounts or unfriending people Sunday or Monday. There's just some shit that I don't want to see. There's just stuff I don't want to see. One of the accusers of Epstein and Prince Andrew just committed suicide. Oh, yeah, I saw that. God bless Primo. JAT is under control of the Matrix. God bless Primo. Hold on. God bless Primo. Hey, Kingdom. Spirit of New Orleans. Spirit of New Orleans. Surprised that Angel is still funny. 8 out of 10. There you go. So, John, that's stats in the feds, okay? I say that to people all the time. And I'd say probably 9. But I say all the time. Look at the telephone interview with the friend of mine the other day. His lawyer was shocked that he was facing life and said no. It was like people don't do that, you know? They had an ex-DA agent from Louisiana who was busted and testified against the DA agent, Chad Scott. After he testified and was released, he went to Houston and got busted again. So there does need to be snitch laws. Okay? I am not an anti and rat hater kind of person. So I think after doing legal work for a long time and seeing different sides, but it's just not like ingrained in me. I'm from a don't tattle culture. Or that's from just being kids, like normal stuff. Not don't snitch, snitches get snitches. We didn't fight. We didn't fight. We didn't fight over drugs. We surfed on them. We surfed over them. I'm making a little fun, but there was some little bit of drama here and there. If I fronted you and you didn't pay me, that was shame on me. Just don't deal. We're not going to deal again. Deal with each other. But there was other issues. There were some issues when I was a kid, but so my point is this. Okay. You get busted and you want to turn your life around? Okay. Go ahead. Rat. Go ahead. You continue to do it and you get caught again, fucking whack them. Nail them. So there should be a snitch law. It should be like, okay, so like NCIC, we can all tell you got Bolo, be on the lookout, same thing. They can set up a system, state, and it shouldn't be cross state and federal and this jurisdiction. No, one chance, one go. That's what it should be. Look at Jimmy Calandra, and I hate to bring this. Look at Jimmy Calandra. Look at his story, for example, okay? His story is that everybody did him bad, I guess, and he looked in poor Polly, and this happened to this Polly G guy. If you guys don't know, I'm sorry. I'll get over it. This poor Polly G, and my friends are coming from, blah, blah, blah. But then he got out, went to Pittsburgh, and was pursuing getting into the organized crime that was there. I know that for a fact, 100%, and was smoking crack. So my point is this. If he was to got caught in that stuff or whatever the deal was, after he got a deal, there should be no mercy. Like there should be like this, okay, you can walk or you can get X amount of time. But if you do this again, you're hammered. Hammered. But you know what would happen really in today's time with drugs? There would be a lot of people would have a boatload of time because there was a lot of snitches that would go out and get busted again, and that's what would happen. Because they're addicts. And it's hard to change, you know? For some, for a lot, for many, you know? The reality is hires attorneys who are friendly with the judges, clerks, prosecutors, etc. Yes. So you know that. And okay, Chad's got his D agent who stole Scarface, Julia Ghetto Boy rap group. Okay, I'll give your attorney policy credit, but only if he knows and employs a top-notch investigator. Yeah. You know what sucked? This is off. So I'm in 7 years and things crack open for me. Newly discovered evidence. We find out that one of the snitches in my case, was busted making meth in the hotel room, in the hotel that they bought the night before he testified against me. Okay, prosecutorial misconduct. I can go on and on. I could not get an attorney in this area. Matter of fact, we had to go all the way to Little Rock to get an attorney. This attorney was a death penalty specialist. Number one, if you know anybody who has a life sentence or a boatload of time, never, ever get them a death penalty attorney. Why? Because their job is to get people from death to life. So they don't work as hard for lifers. Number two, this dude, I can't even think of his name right now. He was like a Craig Lambert. So first mistake. So my parents are doing this, by the way, okay? They're taking care of this legal bill I'm talking about. This is in 2005. I was at Lewisburg. They went to local attorneys, and the local attorneys said, Jesus, this case, like, we don't want to touch this because this is too political around here. Because there was blatant prosecutorial police misconduct. I mean, we can get into it. I had a case, okay? So we get this dude out of Little Rock. Other people in Little Rock wouldn't touch it. We went all over. This guy decides, oh, don't worry, we'll travel 3 hours and meet you. You know what they did? They drove out here, a $10,000 attorney basically. Then this is in 2005, and we're talking Arkansas, okay? So to put it in context, I had a high-powered attorney in Arkansas for my federal case. That's how I know about these mistakes. $25,000 was top money back then. I mean, he was the top dog. John Wesley Hall was the man. 25,000. Okay, so it's not like it's a lot more. I'm sure now. I don't know, whatever. But Craig Lambert, who was a John Wesley Hall protege, who was my trial attorney, he drove out and drove to my parents' farm, and that's SOB. As soon as he saw that farm, he saw money is what he saw, upped it to 20 grand. Then he tried to get a PI involved. It was a former DEA agent. I wish I would have done that. We did not do that, which was stupid. And then come to find out he's with his girlfriend. And then I call him because he filed the brief, didn't let me read it first. There was mistakes in it. And I had to go back and like rewrite it and send it to him. I thought somebody's stopping at my house. I have my windows open. That's what it is. Oh, that's the local sheriff, the local cop, I should say. So I had I'm sorry. No, he sent me a copy of the brief. I'm sorry. He sent me a copy of the brief. I had to rewrite it. He was totally wrong. What he submitted was my work, all of it, and did not respond to the prosecutors. He didn't reply to the prosecutor's response. This dude, we end up finding out. I call, I can't get a hold of him. He's not taking my phone calls. The girl, who was the girlfriend who they got married, tells my mom that she's banging on the door of the house, but he won't let her in. He's all coked out. I got a cokehead attorney, which cool, but don't kick your wife out on the street and not do my case and all this other stuff. What was my point in telling the Crown Galambo story? Damn. Hold on. What was that? Testosterone blocker. Hold on. Damn it. So I forgot why. I was trying to wrap it up and I forgot what I was talking about. I was telling a story about Craig venting. When cops pull you over, they will ask you had anything to drink. Once you say yeah, but just a couple of them, gives them probable cause. Always say none, even if you have 30. Wow. That's good advice for people. Not people like me who don't drink anymore. That's good advice for people. I shouldn't say that even like that. That's not, Anyway, testosterone blockers, a chemical castration. Oh, okay. Okay. Dude, I know people, they're giving Keytruda. They're giving people medicine in the hospital for cancer treatment who, by the way, they're testosterone blockers is what they are. This is part of a cancer. And they look like women. I have a friend, he looks, they turn into like female stuff. It's crazy. Okay. My mom. Oh, Louisiana does it also. Okay. I think Arkansas tried and they got it stopped. I do. JT show. Okay. Best advice is don't drink and drive. Yeah. So when I was a kid, hey, don't drink and drive because you'll spill your drink. That's what we'd always say. Spirit of Orleans says it possible when he's causing an Exodus membership. It is funny though. I'm sure guys like Real Deal Tommy. Okay. All right. Why are you talking to yourself? Okay. I was sad that the passing of Anthony. Okay. You're back, huh? Okay. Did you do any time with Big Vince? That doesn't ring a bell, Roy. That does not. Yeah, 8 to 10 people are scum. Makes sense. Okay, not much older than me. My brother's name is Dominic, too. John Wolfe, he's still alive. I'm just from a place where a man takes responsibility for himself. Okay, there you go. King Dom. Okay, I'm going through this. Spirit of New Orleans, I used to laugh about his fanboy ways. Okay. Yeah, mine is dominant. Spirit of New Orleans is playing. Okay, Primo. Okay. Frank, fanboy click. That's what prompted Frank isn't even legit. Okay. Yeah, the K is 50-50 props. Okay. Primo, how many subscribers does a New Orleans have? Check your range. Okay. You must create an award for the recently departed. What? Okay. 71. Yeah, okay. It's okay. Let me see. Not follow apparent. Texas. Good to see another live stream for you, brother. Keep up the good work. Thank you. And while you guys are playing in the chat. which is fine by me. Excuse me. Put an old pinch between my cheek and gums. And no, Primo, I won't use that $10 to buy a can, I promise. Okay. By the way, Texas is the greatest. Thank you for that. Okay, funny Spirit of Orleans. Okay. Spirit of Orleans, Mo was my trader's badge name at Chicago Mercantile Exchange. How are you doing the shit? Okay. Simone out of Philly is a great criminal attorney. Okay. Who picked the name Mo? I'm doing an appeal as we speak. Civil matter. I know what it is, I think. Primo. Anyway. California, Primo. I can answer the question for you, but you probably already did. I noticed that neither Joey or Maura posted the full video of Mo. Okay. I don't drink, but never admitted it. If you do. Okay. That's good advice, by the way. You know what? It's crazy. I never thought about that. You're right. Everybody always says because you automatically think they smell of alcohol, you know? I am so lucky I didn't get a drunk driving well, it's not like I drank a lot and didn't get drunk. It's sad, but probably because of drugs. But I got pulled over so many times after I hit my deer and screwed my car up, man. It looked like I was driving a meth mobile. It was like taped together. No light, no back. I mean, it was crazy. Oh, man. Anyway, bad times. Stanfa has to be nearly 90 years old. Wow. So he was like, okay, John Stanfa. He was like 60 in 2000, I think. So yeah, he's over. He's going. I'm gonna say that's Texas is hot and sticky. Oh shoot! I just did something. Uh-oh. You keep it real, man, and I love your show. Thank you, Roy. I appreciate it, and thank you for coming on with the knowledge that you have too. Seriously. Yeah. Okay. Spirit of New Orleans. James Proctor should conduct a deep dive into the usage of word Bo and Mo and provide us what they tend. You guys, again, thanks, Roy, for the donation. I seriously appreciate it. I had a layover in Chicago, and I was somewhat intimidated when I walked around downtown. You know what? I had a layover in Chicago too, and it was our plane didn't connect. Damn, that was great. That was in 1995. That's the only time I've been in Chicago. No, I think I've been one more time, but it was a layover. I was with the person who I would marry, the second person, Barbara, and it was. I left her in Hot Springs, and was going to California, and she took a taxi cab, and she didn't have any money, and I'm drinking at the bar, waiting for a plane in Little Rock, and I just turn my head and I see this. She looked like a little boy. I mean, the way she was dressed, baseball cap. She was running through the airport, but she just beat the taxi driver for $100. And of course, I bought her a ticket and took her to California with me and beat up hookers. We beat up hookers in California. That's what happened. That was terrible. Anyway, it was 29 degrees. I'm back at the helm. Like James Proctor will hear that recommendation from Okay, never admit guilt, even if you're guilty. Make them work for their paycheck. And that is the truth. Always, Primo. He got convicted with Stanfa. How's it? Oh, wait a minute. Big Vince. Okay. How's it going? Hopefully you're getting to keep your house and property. Wacko. That was Waco for a second. So far, so good. So far, so good. Yeah, I'm going to make it. I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to make it happen. I will say that I got dogged on YouTube this month. Thankfully, people donated to cash out. But YouTube nailed me for some videos. I took down stuff that I didn't because it didn't get monetized. I'm here, skimming, but yeah. Then I got like taken out of the algorithm. Whatever, it'll work itself out. It'll be good. I used to eat at Stanford's Peace Place. Really, Wolf, you're close to me. Well, about 80 miles. With no hidden agendas. Thanks, Roy. And listen, and truthfully, I don't. You know what? There's some things that I'm watching on the psychology shows, and they're saying like, don't reveal too much, and I'm like, too late for that. Too late for that. That's just how I choose to do this, man. There's some therapeutic stuff going on, and going to be more again. Criminal justice reform. Yeah, that's so big. It's like almost impossible. When you think of criminal justice reform, it's so overwhelming. I talked to this with my judge about it. I made some comments. My judge told me if I keep clean, keep straight, to make sure I get a hold of him, and I'm going to. But I'm going to make sure that I've got time, program, sponsor. People are against AA and NA, and I get it. There's things that I don't like too, but I've got to do that. For me, that's coming very, very soon here. I have a vehicle that's half-assed, and one of the that's not one of the reasons, but I do drive fast, so it's probably every time I get in it, I screw the thing up or drive on bumpy mountain roads, or I haven't left much lately, but anyway, yeah. Thanks, I appreciate it. I was just talking to myself again, kind of. What I was gonna say is, even the shows have affected me as far as when they say don't reveal too much or this or that. I'm saying it's too late. It has affected, the shows I've been watching has affected what I'm trying to do with my addiction and recovery sobriety agenda that I'm trying to just go through here. It is at least half in part for me personally, but I have already had some. I used to get quite a few people and quite a few phone calls, but I used to answer my phone all the time, every message. I do try to stay answering my YouTube comments more, at least, acknowledging that I got them. And, but I'm not doing what I did last time because it bogged me down with just talking to a lot of people from YouTube and stuff, just random stuff. But a lot of people are calling with problems. So I've talked to now 3 about addiction issues. 3 that have reached out to me via Messenger or whatever. Then I called them, and I want to watch it though. You know what I'm saying? But I have a friend that I was in rehab with, who is doing really well, and I was surprised that he went and entered the program. He wants to come down a couple days a week and start bringing me up there with him and stuff like that. I'm going to do that probably after next week. Probably. We'll see. However, okay. Love all the Chicago stories. So we're going to get Primo on here, by the way, you guys. I don't know how much you guys really know about him, but he's got a hell of a background. Life, his whole life trajectory, by the way, all the way up until meeting Robert Ross. Fascinating story. I don't know how fascinating that part is for him, but Primo's going to come on with Chicago mob stories sooner or later. Excuse me. It was really cold and dark. Okay, so when I went to Chicago, we got the connecting flight was messed up, so what am I trying to say? The company, American Airlines, paid for the the room and the vouchers or whatever. I just got a very, well, like 90 grand settlement. And I got really drunk and got into a fight again with Barbara. Of course, that's all we did. That's all we did. And of course I left. That's all I usually do is leave when I get into arguments or conflicts with people, sadly. And I told this cab driver, I went to the airport, to the hotel bar, drank. She got mad because I came back drunk and I was supposed to go get food or something. And I did, but I came back drunk too. So then I get a taxi and I tell this guy man, he charged me like $200. I don't even remember being it for 20 minutes, but maybe it was longer. But I got burned out of that ride for sure. Yeah. And I was going to California to score drugs. Yeah, Rob has a great yard to chill out. He should thank God for that. I do. There's a lot. So yeah, I do. Let's cut it. The house, even with these paneling and nothing on the walls. So all the walls in this house, except for a little board back there, there's nothing on them because I'm choosing to keep it that way. But the yard, everything down here needs work, But the yard, yeah, and there will be a dog coming in the future when I can afford to feed just me. Then I'll feed the dog, and I got to decide what size too. I'm probably at the end of summer, fall, or whatever. Yeah, and I'm not going to do the animals right now like I thought. That must be Chicago to call Primo. That must have been a culture shock. Okay, cool. No. Some say John Wolf, aka The Truth, was recently seen this year smoking. Okay. You're just playing. Full Tart. Mr. Ross, so being from Southern California, what is the worst area out of those cities? Long Beach, Watts. Wow, that's all changed. Well, I got a juicy pouch right now. Let's put it that way. That is all changed since I've been there. Okay. I have not been back to California since 97. I've not. Turned down a couple chances, but all that area. So Compton's now Mexican, predominantly. That's a big shift. Inglewood got the stadium, right? They got a lot of good places, I guess, regentrified or whatever they call it. So back in the day, okay. Probably Watts at the time, I would say. If I had, man, there was a bunch of bad areas. There was a bunch of bad areas at the time. I do talk to a dude that's a former member of the Rolling 60s. Former. I don't want to get him indicted. Who had a life sentence, he got out too. Who talks about being out there and just saying, man, it's totally different now. He did almost 30 years. Of course, everything's different, but just how much it's changed in real estate. The parts that didn't burn down out in California. Okay. Gennaro Boots. So somebody asked me this the other day. What did Tommy talk about? The only time he ever talked about his case is when he had me look up information from the internet. My sister got it. And there was something about a nurse, and I forgot, that was mentioned, and he was wanting more information about that. He got transferred. About a nurse being killed or something, okay? But we talked about what was going on in the prison, like just the gossip in the prison, and Jojo Russo. So he was in the room with me caring for Jojo Russo quite a bit. So small talk, nothing of importance or significance or something that just stood out and went, aha. Other than him, when Fat Sal kind of tried to treat me like a punk, yeah, he did. Tommy jumped his ass for that, but that was about it. Next day, okay. I'm trying to figure out Anti-Serico, I think. What's up? Hey, what's up? Thanks for jumping on. Okay. The Truth Parkway Travel. Best lawyer in Long Island is Steven Scar. He saved my life when I was 12. What about Matthew Mary? If anyone can get a video of inside church on the corner of Troy and Flatbush Avenue, it's John Wolf. Okay. So they're just talking back and forth. What happened to the deer? It was became food. It was the most beautiful 10-point buck. Um, Came out of an AA meeting in a neighborhood, coming right out of it's called Fiena Hills. Coming in these streets, there was a deer in the street sniffing the street, and I knew I was gonna. I was. It was going like 75 and a 35. Okay, first of all, and I remember this thing looking at me, and I just knew from way off in a distance I was gonna hit this thing. Your left, and then I knew it was gonna bounce left and then bounce right. I knew it, and I turned right into it, and it from the center of my car all the way to the driver's door is dented. The grill's busted still. The driver's door still got a big dent in it, but it's antlers or whatever. Banged the door. It was dead instantly. It was a kill shot. I just remember looking at this thing going, wow. So I go back to, I was living in the rehab house at the time. I went back there with a bunch of redneck dudes. They were like, I took a photo. They're like, where is it? Look, they jumped in the back, this big 4-wheel drive pickup. There was dudes like 5, literally jumping back, like holding on to the bars, and had a sawzall. First thing they did is get down there and cut the antlers off. Wasn't cutting the neck off good or whatever. Yeah, it was, I shit you not. They had that thing dressed out 15, 20 minutes, man. Probably not even that. Barbecue already roaring. The grill already fired up in the city of Fort Smith, dressing the deer, dressed it in the alley, actually. And it was good. It was good. Went back and got it. You're not supposed to do that. I know, but we did. That's what happened to the, that's in response to this question. What happened to the deer? Do you know him? Okay. James Proctor is full of strange guy. Picture him. Okay. Yes, I've done time with SAC members. Tin Man, not Tin Man, Taz, Tin Man's brother. Crazy train got patched when I was there. There was other SAC guys that I've run across, but yeah, I did time with them. Yeah. Yeah, always Mexican since the 90s. Nope, Gennaro, but happy to hear you found a good lawyer variety with good service. Before late 90s, there was no Mexicans in pizza spots. By late 90s, there were the most. So Spirit of New Orleans, after Katrina, a bunch of Hispanics popped up down there, right? Rob, any positive you give someone who needs help, God will give you back much more and always pays off. Thank you. I appreciate that. So I have not, I talked to somebody who knows him very, very well. I have not watched a single thing about that indictment. Okay. And the conversations I had, I can't say. Okay. I can't. I can't. That's I won't even do that. Okay. That's active stuff. That's active stuff. You know what I'm saying? But I haven't looked into it yet. Probably will do something. Yes. Same here. I'm saving some. Okay. Used to be you get a good dog for 500 or $1,000. Now they're nearly. Yeah, I'm gonna get. I'm Convict Inc. Who put that? Okay. Okay. Uh I'm gonna get a free one when I get one, and it's not gonna be a pit bull pup. It's not. So I had a friend who's in El Paso who just offered me a pug nose, and yeah, but no. They don't have like any real options where I'm at, right? And I need a puppy because I'm not willing to take a dog that could have issues before. Right on. Lonnie. Oh man. So the movie was not Convict. I've been waiting for you. Oh man, I should wrote down things I wanted to say to you. I have thought about you. This guy right here is going is going to be in a movie. Okay, don't know what kind. He can't talk about it, so don't ask, just in case. But you can tell he's preparing. You asked about getting in the mind frame of a prisoner the other day. Do burpees and stuff in the morning. Also, I have believed that I have done you a disservice by some of the things I say because you need to play a character of a that seems like a white convict. Okay, and even though my handle's Convict Inc., um, I do give different sides or different views of prison. I think and about people in prison and different stuff. But to get watch Felon. Felon is accurate. That I was that's what I meant. I didn't mean convict. I meant felon. And that story, of course, that hit hard because of the relationship issue that was going on. But the way that that happened on that bus, where a guy going in, he commits, guy's breaking in his house and he kills the dude and ends up going to prison. And he's on the bus. Big AB, supposedly I think that's what they're aiming for. AB type person, shot caller, commits a murder on the bus, and then hands the shank off to a white guy who was aspiring to be an AB. Let's just put it that way. And then he hands the knife off to the new fish guy. That is so accurate how that stuff like that happens. So watch that movie. I would work out because that's a big thing in prison, even though, I was on and off again about that. Do burpees. Burpees are the big prison exercise for white guys. Okay. It's all about burpees. Other stuff, push-ups, lots of push-ups, lots of burpees, but burpees is like the thing for a lot of whites and Mexicans. But to try to get you ready and prepared for the mindset, you asked about like when you walk the yard and are you thinking of plotting and stuff. So it depends on your script. I would have, of course, I know you're not going to give it to me and I'm not asking. I would have to look at the script and then I would be able to mold myself into that kind of character. If it's, they're going to model it off California like most other movies and stuff like that. Yeah, but that's something that trained you is the exercise is the burpee stuff. And I do think that's very important. Oh man, I really need to write this down for you, but I wanted to tell you that go watch Felon and really how that all plays out. Keep up the good work. Stacy, hi Rob, keep up the good work in your podcast and staying clean. Thank you. And I appreciate it. Thank you. I appreciate your support. Okay. King, I got 3 brothers in the shelter. Okay. I got 3 brothers at the shelter and they were only 11 months old. Okay. Karma is very real. That's why I don't do anything anymore unless you fuck with my family. Right on. Yeah, I need like okay, got it. Cam. Okay, you mentioned Bernie Madoff not being a reformed. Interesting tad bit of human psychology. Most people that are successful only have niche knowledge on certain topics. 100%. It was in the interview I did with him. How he started enjoying just, Grisham, King, all that stuff. But he really liked it. He found reading as a passion. That's some of the stuff he did. And then I think he was able to teach a class and they stopped him. They fucked with him a lot. Okay. Do shot callers have personality traits that you can discern over the years? See what I'm talking about with you? They come in different sizes and different shapes. You'd be surprised about some shot callers. You look at my mannerisms. I'm no different than I was now. okay, maybe I'll look the look because of my hair. I started losing my hair. Actually, I started shaving my head before I lost it. Number one, I mean, I kept some hair, but you wouldn't think that I would be in like a leadership role. Some people wouldn't. There's guys that are just okay. There's a dude, Chucky, by the way, an MS-13 guy, short, little guy, very polite, didn't run nothing. I remember him getting a little mouthy over something one time, not with me, but with somebody. Very passive. He had 3 states. Um, they they know the shot callers know how to play prison, which I guess is a manipulation tactic. Which I think that a lot of people that go to prison become better manipulators because you have to manipulate the best. You have to out manipulate the best. The staff's job is all about manipulation. They lie to you all the time. They manipulate you to get what they want you to do. And if you want things done, you have to out manipulate them. I got into this with my PO's boss. I screwed up. Okay, I'm starting to get a little rush off this tobacco. I really screwed up on probation by saying this to the boss of my PO. He was telling me that he thought that I had a foot in both life still, based on the content on this show. He was not incorrect in saying that I didn't talk to a lot of criminals and stuff like that, but he was basically saying that I was still in the criminal lifestyle. And then he said, we had some words, and he said, I think you're a manipulator or something. And I popped off and said something like, I forgot. I think I said, you're damn right, I'm one of the best to do it, because I had to out manipulate you people, meaning the feds, meaning staff. And that right there totally changed everything. The dirty urine, which I don't want to get in. The first dirty pop was what did it, but my attitude, that comment haunted me in court. The judge brought it up. It was terrible, and it was just me popping off too. But personality traits, natural born leaders, maybe charismatic. But again, some of them come as passive, and some of them come as no nonsense kind of shock horror, which you're probably aiming for that part being a Hollywood movie. How to get what they know how to they know how to get what they want. A lot of them, yeah. I'm just trying to, like I said, you stump me. Thank you, DeGosta. I appreciate that. Yeah, I've been on 2 hours, but some people, I've got. The only thing I have to do is this. Okay, I got you, Primo. Only thing I got to do is this real quick. Okay, Mom, I will. Period. And I love you. No, this is how. By the way, if you get messages from me ever, this is how I do it. I voiced it, and now it's. Well, talk to you tomorrow or see you tomorrow. Love you. Make sure you call your sister. It's her birthday. I was asking because a new video came out on Doc TV Unleashed with Michael Long Sack. Okay. Michael Long, SAC leader. Okay. So I don't know about that one. Okay, you speak of Carmen Persico often. Is there any particular reason why you gravitate towards this person? Yeah, probably for one. So Lonnie, you didn't know that I did a lot of prison video content, and then I started talking about certain mob people. Okay, so my thing with Carmine Persico is I spent 3.5 years with him, every day, all day. And he was like a father figure to me, and was very influential in my life as far as staying clean at that time. Became a writer during that time. So I started talking about him a lot because a lot of my audience came to my channel from what's called MobTuber, the mob genre. So, and that's still, my channel's still probably more of them than prison content. It's balancing. I can see it's balancing. Some leaving, new subs. It's balancing. Okay, you can see in analytics. So I think that just naturally comes up because he was the big boss. He was like the last of the real bosses, whatever you want to say. And I knew him very intimately, so to speak. I mean, we lived together for a long time. That's why Carmine pops up. Never called him the snake, right? DeGosta, is that the guy with the mustache and found? Yes. Oh, yeah, he was too. Yeah, like the White Downey Trevino. Yeah, you're right. I think that's the same guy. That Joey, what's up? That tatted dude that passed this shit. Yeah, somewhere in the LA area. That tatted dude that passed the shit on the bus died jumping out of. Really, did he? Okay. Fell in with Val Kilmer. Was that white shot caller an accurate depiction of how shot caller behaved? Yes. I'm telling you that was really wait. Yeah, Felon. Was it Val Kilmer? Was that who it was? I think it was. That what they do in the rec cages, that was happening at Corcoran, okay? That happened. Stop. Now I don't know about the takedown and how they did it for the movie. How they got busted. That's all BS, I believe. But the way that they are in the rec cages, the way the prisoners were, bingo, it was good. And the story, of course, with the girl was super. The real guy, Joey, jumped out the window. I just noticed why I did not add that to the Senate. I got you. Yeah, Waco, there's a show on here somewhere about him a year or two ago. Okay. Then he can start getting a feel for a convict. Yeah. The movie Shot Caller, you could notice a personality shift of the main character throughout the movie. In your personal opinion, how would you describe what's happening to him? It's been a second since I watched Shot Caller. Okay, so he goes in and he goes back to go get the dude, right? Bitterness, resentful of the system, played the system, knew how to get back to the area. Again, it's a little bit movie-ish to me. So he lost the daughter, if I remember correctly, or he wasn't going to have a relationship or didn't want her to be in the life because he was going to go back in and commit to that life, meaning gang life, to take out the top shot caller. That's what it was, right? I forgot the actual all plot. I haven't seen that since probably 21 or 22. And I watched Felon here since I've been out. That's why Felon is sticking with me. Okay. Oh, King Dom, that was really good. In that particular movie, he loses humanity, but not his moral. Wow, that's good. That was a good comment. Okay, overtime. Best way to describe. Okay. Oh, 100%, Lonnie. I have noticed that. I've noticed with the material that I watch on YouTube about convicts, they have normalized what in civil society would be brutal or carnage. What's normal out here is abnormal, add normal in there. What's abnormal in there is more normal. So you get desensitized to stories about murder, violence, especially when you start taking part of it. It can be funny, humorous. We laugh and tell jokes about terrible things that we did or happened to people. Yeah, normalized society. Yeah, that's what it is. Just remember that it's just flipped upside down. You know. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Yeah, you really make me, because I want to get this right for you. I could just looked up felon actor. It should be okay. He is. I hope he's El Salvadorian. Okay. It is normal there, Lonnie. Yeah. COs are worse than that. Yeah, we do call them cops a lot in prison. We do say that. What he had, I think, one of the more small moves after fell back into drugs. Right on. Thanks, Roy. I appreciate it. Mob cops. Wait, go. Okay. What's the shit? Okay. Okay. Let's say you get sent to prison that you're not familiar with, the new prison. The first 15 minutes, what are you looking for and why? Excuse me. I'm looking for a new prison. Okay. So as a first time offender, as a first time offender, you really don't know what you're looking for. As somebody who went back on a violation, when I went back to the Washington County Detention Center in Fayetteville, Arkansas, the first thing I did when I walked in is I said, "Who's got this?" For the whites. Who's got this? Whose pot is this? That's the first thing I do. Find out. When you do that, that shows the guy respect off the bat. It does. But they're ego driven. Some of them, and they then know that that you're a convict, okay, or you've done time. Especially, hey, that's the first thing. Who's got this? All right, listen, man. I'm coming off a bad one. Things are not going well for me now. I'm going to be crashing for a minute. And then the white dudes are like, dude, you got the floor space, because the whites control the jail up there. Largely. Yeah. Blacks were on the floor. It's true. But then because I'm from California, I also looked to the Mexicans, and the Mexicans got me the bottom bunk that I wanted and needed or whatever. That's what I do, and that's what I did this whole thing, except for Butner. I knew guys in Butner, but there was guys that so-called are the heads, even in Butner. But so, first 15 minutes, what are you looking for? You're getting the feel how guys are looking at you. Keep a straight face. Don't want to ever look scared. People prey on weakness easily. Everybody, even the weak ones, will prey on you if you show weakness. And I'm not saying you got to go in there and hit the first dude and all that stuff. Carry yourself like you're not nervous. Put on prison face. It's called the prison face. And so the first 15 minutes, I would be looking at the conditions as I'm walking in, scoping out the areas, the bed situations. It depends on cell blocks or open dorms. I would get a feel of, I can feel the tension or not, or that comes over time. That stuff comes over time. Not looking for people to flip. Now, I will say this about people that use drugs: we are magnets for each other. Carmine Persico again used to say, "I can't. How does everybody on drugs? How do you walk in a prison and find each other? It's a magnet. It's a magnet." Now, of course, with the meth epidemic in the country that's happened, some of them are easy to spot with no teeth, or that look 40 and they're 20. You know what I mean? So meth is bad. Drugs are bad. I hope you're looking for your people and they're looking for you to smell and who you know. Oh, there. See, that's what I'm talking about. That's why I'm glad I guys got you in the chat. Yeah, and you're looking for your people. That if you're white, you're looking for white dudes. Okay, if you're black, you're looking for black. That's what happens first, 100%. But again, me, I always who's got this. That's exactly what that's the line. Who's got this? That's what I usually say. Okay. Okay, why do most people get whacked in prison? Debts. They are known snitches or pull snitch moves. jealousy, Machiavellian moves. So if people put jackets on other people that sometimes aren't true. So let's say, for example, a rep of a unit, the rep of a unit, representative of a unit, usually got those, okay? Somebody who's got the block, who's the pod boss, whatever. That person has a close relationship with staff usually, okay? Especially if they've been there a while. Now, other people can watch that if they don't like that person, and then they can say, that dude's a rat. So much if a guy's got if a guy's in a leadership role, people will whisper behind his back, well, he's a rat. They put him in that position. He's in that position because the staff lets him. There's a whole bunch of stuff that goes on. And then they can get group to go hit somebody that they don't like. I watched that happen with the Vice Lords at Terre Haute. Dude came in. His uncle was way up there. He grabbed the yard, not just the unit, but the yard. And then some dudes got jealous that were like other shot callers for units, but not the yard. And they jumped him. They jumped the wrong guy. This dude fought like 7 guys and did a beast of a job. Beast of a job. I forgot his name and I forgot the whole situation, to be honest. Just popped in my mind. Drop the link for Lonnie can't come on and do that though. I mean, but you knew him in a different environment. It's cool. Became friends there. Roy, I forgot which smell. Oh, damn, I'm thinking of something. Shot caller was good until the ending. That's pretty accurate. I may have the ability to come up with my own nickname. Any unique nicknames that would be associated with the white gang members you came across in your time in the pen? Man, there's so many. Man, there's a dude's named Dookie. I mean, that's man. I mean, it's Thumper, Boulderhead, because he had a big head, Hoghead. Don't go by Snake and Rat, okay? Or Weasel. So that was a thing of mine. So there used to be. I have actually known a rat. Call me Rat. It's like, what? Okay. If somebody goes by the nickname Snake, Rat, or Weasel, run. There's some good advice, okay? Because they're named that for a reason. And I'm not talking about Carmine. Stand your ground and mind your business. Okay. Let me try to read this on the screen. These glasses are bugging me. Stand your ground, but this takes a little bit of time. Okay, I won't do that. I once thought being in confinement wouldn't be that bad until one time I had a panic attack just being alone at my house at night. 4 walls looking at the TV, just video signals. Yeah, panic attacks, man. So the only time I had a panic attack is when I in prison that I can actually say is when I was first going to state prison in Arkansas in the holding unit at Cummins, because we were there for such a long time. It was actually cold out, smoking cigarettes, sometimes nicotine, chew too. It makes me sweat easy. I'm one of these people that sweat super easy, okay? And it takes a minute for it to shut off. It takes a long time, actually. And I poured sweat. I fucking poured sweat. And I look like a nervous freak. But Michael Thompson making stuff up just for clout or looking to glorify his past. Both. Michael Thompson, both. Music is just radio waves music is just radio waves. I was tripping, no drugs. So I couldn't imagine being stuck in a room that you can't leave. It's different. I get what you're saying. My panic attacks have happened in the world. Stores, restaurants, museum. Yeah. And there could have been drug related issues behind it, not even being high at the time, but Meth changes you emotionally, for sure, even when you do little bits. You know about Jimmy, huh? When people say don't be a Jimmy, did you know what that means? That came out of something that I started back in the day about somebody. I'm not going to go over. Don't be means don't be a snitch. Um, Michael Thompson is a huge rat, so don't be a Jimmy means don't be a snitch. Um, I mean, admitted snitch. And again, this is a guy that's been locked up in PC since '84 before he got out, and was like a gang of. So gangs changed so much, different stuff changed. So you're gonna ask me how? Um, the caliber of people, things changed in since he's been in. Yeah, you're right. Some CEOs are technical. Roy Khan fan, you hear me? It's hard to explain, but just getting tripped off from this reality and being in a body. I can get that way when I smoke weed, but when I get that way sober, it's like, well, oh, I got you. Carmine Persico was one of his biggest flaws in life was that he didn't have a higher vocabulary. One of the things he said he regrets was lack of education and not having a higher vocabulary. Words are power. That's a Carmine Persico quote. He was street educated and a very smart man. He could have ran a Fortune 500 company. He could have. And it was said, somebody on NPR said that about him one time. What's his name? Michael Thompson said shotgun pellet rounds didn't pierce his back because there was so much. What a goofball. Roy, I got okay. Did you hear from Benny? I heard he's in Hazleton. It was at when I just checked. He was at Lewisburg FCI. I have not heard from Benny yet. Gotta go. Okay, Kingdom. Take care. Good. Have a good night. Thanks for showing up. Okay. Mary Barber, new here, caught my attention by mentioning Butner as my child's father was just released a couple weeks ago from there. I'm going to ask about the person in the wheelchair. Mary, thanks for showing up. I'm glad you're new. So the person in the wheelchair, specifically, this was an older guy from Texas. Uh, yeah, but go ahead. You can if go ahead and ask. You can ask more. Okay, that's that. Did the old mob guys have a different perspective on criminology than the other prison games or gang members? No, no. The old mob guys come in prison and they have money. Most, almost all that I can think of. And they tried to be model inmates and not get in any trouble. Gang members, even the ones that have money, um, are in prison to control prisons more, I guess. The mob guys might do it in a different way. Um, so, for example, they'll have they'll try to stay out of trouble. Okay, so they'll contract hits to other people instead of doing it themselves. Can be smart move, maybe. Yes, um, but their goal is communication on the outside street, visit family visits, and keeping in touch with the outside world. That's like priority stuff, and trying to live as comfortable in prison within the realm of the rules or following rules. And I would never put that on somebody. I would never put that on somebody who wasn't a prison rat. Stand by that 100% about Joey Testa. Child's father was on the medical side. I was there recently, Mary. I just left there in January. So was he in FMC Butner, the Federal Medical Center? Was he then on the 4th floor with the cancer patients, or was he on the 3rd floor, or was he in the cadre unit? Yeah. Thank you, Roy. I appreciate it. Yeah. Welcome, Mary. Do random people from other races randomly come up to you to fight? It's no. It's no. Yes, it happens if two guys get into it, but generally it's all worked out with reps or somebody that knows the system, and it's usually done through reps or gang shot callers. Prison face being hard. Convict face on. What's up, Wood? Never smile. Never crack a smile. Keep your prison face on. Game your prison face. But again, I'm going to say that sounds of laughter far outweigh any screams, blood-curdling screams, you know? Lonnie is doing an in-depth interview. Yeah, he is. Lonnie's, and he just makes me, and I think about him later. Video just came up. Brent Daniels finally gets to talk about indictment on Texas prison stories. Brent Daniels finally gets to talk about indictment on, okay, Texas prison stories. Yeah, good channel. Carmine Purse caught a lot of personality quirks. I can't say that. A lot of personality. No. He's master at reading people, at reading, at the vibes. I mean, he's got, the prison was his whole life, sadly. Smell a con artist, a bullshitter from a mile away. Made lesser people feel more comfortable. So he did. So this is one thing in his older age. He didn't. So the whole rat CHO-MO thing was out the window with Carmine. Okay, it really was. I think he looked. Well, there was maybe some manipulation in that too. Meaning, I think it's accurate to say he looked at people a lot. Not everybody, but how it could benefit him in the future, whether that person worked in a certain job. So let's say some CHO-MO worked at a job that Carmine needed a broom for his cell, So he already had that guy he was already nice to and not mean to, so then he can get something from that guy. Kind of like that, but that's kind of normal too. I do know drugs but suffer from panic attacks. Panic attacks are terrible. Oh, look, this is what. So I knew somebody who took a little bit of Xanax at night, just a little bit, and I'm talking about a third of a low milligram pill, and I used to say that does still change a person, because Xanax, you stay in a state of withdrawal. I talked to counselors about that, and they agreed. However, so if you do Xanax for 10 or 20 years, but you're doing it to go to sleep, for example, okay, at nighttime, or for anxiety, but if you do a little bit, it changes. I think yeah. So that's what I was. Okay, I'm. There's two things going on in my head right now. Okay, there's two things. So I'm not going to discuss the two things. But my point was, Xanax, I think, is bad. I think it's one of those that you depend on, so you're in kind of a state of withdrawal, so then you're going to need more. That's what I was saying. That's what I was trying to get at. Probably said it in a different way at that time because I was venting or something. You should do a video making linguine and clams like Carmine showed you. I'm going to do food videos. Why did the Dirty White Boys ever aspire to be like the Aryan Brother? Why did the Dirty White Boys ever aspire? Why did the Dirty White Boys ever aspire to be like the Aryan Brotherhood in structure and influence? I don't think the Dirty White Boys ever aspired to be like the Aryan Brotherhood. Um, they don't have a structure. Nothing. There's no structure in the Dirty White Boys. There really isn't. That was one of my. That was a lot of people's problems in the gang. But for sure, some guys aspired to become members of the Aryan Brotherhood, not to be like the ABs because of the myth, because of the stigma or the myth behind it. Because the ABs, it's because of Hollywood. We're still talking about them. They started in the early 60s. So the AB name has a lot of clout. Hence the reason why a bunch of different gangs started with the ABs, the AB this, the AB that. Alabama ABs, North Carolina ABs. They stole the name because that name holds like certain weight, fear almost. You can talk to, there's a black dude that pops up. So there's several from DC blacks, that channel. Eon runs that show. He'll tell you a lot of the black guys in prison see somebody with the bald head looks like me, and we could be a dirty white boy or a sack or whatever. They'll think they're an AB because the name AB automatically sticks, you know? That's what it is. Ooh. Uh-oh. Wow. Did you ever personally talk to Big Mac? No, I walked in with him. I heard him, and I talked through the toilets with, I more listened on that conversation with Barry Mills. COs. Yes, he did. Yes, the CHO-MO got stabbed in the leg with the pencil by the wheelchair. Mary. Lonnie, where will this interview be published? So he's got a movie going, Roy. He's going to be a movie. It's a movie. What would you estimate was the highest amount of money you ever spent on your own drug habit in a year? In prison? Oh my God. Thousands. I remember a $7,000 debt over about a 6-week period. A $7,000 debt over a 6-week period. Actually, there was 15 debts in that 6-week period. So I became, after my first year there, I became quickly known as, my word was good, you will get paid, but slow pay. Relax, wrench. But that was based on depending on people on the outside who either had my money in the beginning or was family money. Family took care of me. That's what happened there. Okay, Mary. Yeah, sure. Not floor. Drop the link, Rob, to Lonnie Carmine. When John Travolta was getting ready to do Pulp Fiction, somebody told him to recreate the film of being on heroin at least. Oh yeah, that makes sense. So don't be on. I can see that. I can see what you're saying about Travolta getting prepped for that movie. I don't know what you're doing. Are you guys going to be junkies? Probably, right? If you're going to do the whole drug thing, there's got to be intensity in waiting to get the paper or the clavo, as we call it, because it gets really you're anxious. You can't think about anything else. If you're going to cop, it's the scoring of the drugs in prison is part of the addiction. Does that make sense? The whole Oh shit! I was muted the whole. I get it now. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I got it now. Damn, that was a long time, huh? Damn it. Oh shit. Okay. D'Agosta, to answer your question, you got it. If you were completely broke and go into prison, how do you make money? Wash clothes, clean cells. Those are the lower grunt ones. Sell drugs, make hooch, wine. Um, I'm trying to think of something else, but something else is going on too in my head because I don't know how long ago I was muted. The highest amount of drug on my drug habit was, I said, $7,000 in 6 weeks. I can't, man, there was so much money. There, so much, thousands in a year. Okay. Lonnie, do you want to come on here, by the way? If I dropped a link, if I got to figure out how to do it, still no sound, you're back. Thank you. Sound's working great. No, I pushed the button. There's a green and a red. Must be hurting for cash the way he's firing up these videos. I'm absolutely hurting for cash. Waco. Wait, hold on. Or Petey. I'm absolutely. Will you donate? Will you donate? This is what I'm doing right now. And I'm scraping by. So yeah. But that was intention from a long time ago. So yeah, there'll be. Wait till next month. Wait till tomorrow starts it. Yeah. So yeah, wake up. So Lonnie, tell me if you want to come on. I'm in the same boat. So it's cool, Petey. It's all right. I just had a yeah. So I don't know if you've watched from the beginning when I said that I was trying to do online surveys and everything else. So I'm like, you know what? I'm making like $20 in 2 days. Why don't I just do videos every day? You know, even though I haven't done them every day. Anyway, okay. So the Lonnie, if so, people are saying to bring you on, and so did. No problem. No problem. But yes, yeah, you know what I'm saying. Yes, I was venting. There's seriousness about it. However, having said that, yeah, it helps. It helps, Roy. Thank you. It does. I appreciate it. All of it helps. Thank you. Smash the like button. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, Pete. Yeah, and I don't care about you saying that. That's cool. There 100% truth to that. But I'm trying to get the channel to grow too in prison content ways and addiction recovery, which is a lot less popular, but it's important to me. So we'll see. And I want full disclosure, I still can't get my head wrapped around the way. So I wanted to kind of do like beginning, middle, end. I don't know. I might start with telling my childhood stories because I was thinking of like life before life imprisonment, reflecting back because that all ties into my whole life ties into addiction. So yeah. And the childhood stories, man, that came up on that live I did the other day. I mean, that short I did the other day, just thinking about the 321 dance club. And then that all spiraled into, wow, that really shaped how things went in my life. Plus I got busted 3 times in 3 weeks in different jurisdictions. And they treated me as a first time offender and all. Squeaked by that one. Oh, are you? Okay. State, federal, what? I don't disagree about Carmine screwing over Gallows. And I'm going to tell you what a lot of the people A lot of the mob guys have said about Carmine that Carmine whacked the good ones. He There was guys that, like, let's say, for example, you go do your bid, you don't snitch, you come out, you start getting a little bit of notoriety. Michael Francese, however you say his name, he shined too bright. That's it. If you shine too bright in Carmine's family, better watch it. Michael was lucky. He quit because he knew what time it was. He was gonna get popped. He was gonna get it. What's your thoughts on ramen being currency in the penitentiary system? Yes, that's true. So is mackerel, can be. But in the feds, so commissary in general can be currency, okay? People trade items. Stores. So if you don't know about prison stores, or we talked about this before, that is, you go buy commissary from the store and you mark it up 50%. Or you give 1 for 2 back. Yeah. Or 2 for 3. Different little tricks that guys have to bring more people in. But that's one of them. Okay, New Jersey. Right on, P. Thank you. I hope everything's going better for you now. Did you turn felon as a correctional officer? The more videos from you, the better, my man. Thanks, Roy. I appreciate it. Benny was the most entertaining guest you've had on. It sucks sometimes because of the sound quality. I know. And look, man, I've still got the same setup: a laptop, a phone, and a microphone that was bought for me. Someone special. Yeah, so we didn't get there would have been a time when I would have got better equipment and stuff. What can I say? Would have, could have, should have. Drugs. Did Carmen ever mention a guy named Charlie-Mo? That sounds very familiar, but I don't know why, Justin. I don't know why at this point. Oh, from the prison phone? Yeah. Yeah. So what I did before was use tape-a-call, I think it was called. But this, I didn't know till just last week you can record off an iPhone. It says you're being recorded and there's a little ding and stuff so people can understand and hear, which I've got no problem. I'm not trying to pull no sneaky shit anyway. But yeah, I think this last one sounded better than anything else, and that was just straight recording from the phone. Oh, wow. Okay. I got you. PD brought in contraband. Okay. So do you remember a CO Hall? Super nice. CO was a CO at Alcatraz, and while his dad. Yeah, I remember him. Yeah, I remember Hall. Yeah, man. That'd be great to have somebody like that on that lived on Alcatraz. I went to Alcatraz as a kid and as a. So I told you guys I was in Chicago Airport earlier. On that trip, we went to Alcatraz, and banged in the showers on Alcatraz. So they take you through a tour group, and they bring you in there, and they tell you that they used to put warm water on prisoners because they didn't want to get used to the cold. So it was like lukewarm water or hot water or whatever. And as the tour group moved away, yeah, we'd both been out of prison she'd been out like 6 weeks. No. Yeah, she'd been out like 6 weeks, and I'd been out like 5 weeks. So we went on a tour to Alcatraz. It was actually an awesome tour, though. Did you know anything about Nicky Scarfo in prison, the Philadelphia boss? Do you have any opinion on Merlino? I don't have an opinion to give about Merlino. I have not. So I heard he was on when I was in the joint, when I was in Butner Hospital. I heard he was on, and I was like, wow, okay. I don't know his status in the mafia. I don't know if he's a boss or former or whatever. I've heard different stuff. Not trying to get into that. So, of course, then I see the channels that are beating him up and he's beefing with this. but the rat. So I like I like that he's not a known rat, an informant, and that he's doing what he's doing. But I haven't watched enough of the content to make a decision or an opinion on that. To be honest, that's the truth. I'm not. It's not like I. Okay, so Petey, I got it. Outside street charges. I was going to ask you. Okay, I was going to go. I've always had Rob. Curious to know if you ever came across Chicago outfit guys. Did I answer that other question back there? Hold on. Did you have any? So Nikki. So as far as the only thing I heard is that he called Carmine a rat. That had to do with the commission trial. I said that Scarfo said that Carmine admitted there was a mafia. I stuck by that. I've since seen more about that trial, and on cross-examination, guys were pissed off at him because he was basically saying there was a mafia. That's where I got a little messed up on that. But otherwise, yeah. Okay. Rob, just curious to know if you ever came. So there was some in the hospital. I don't know their names. Benny, I think, talked about him, but there was some in Butner FMC in 2007. And the only one I really knew was Tony Calabrese, who I knew personally. Oh no. Okay. So here's nothing personal, but I signed an NDA, and I knew that you said before. So there was people, and I even got a message about putting you on. So people are asking you to come in. That's why. And by the way, if Lonnie, we can talk on the phone. I wouldn't put nothing out there. RJ, is it in the so RJ Rosso 1969 at Gmail. RJ Rosso, you can reach out. Rob, I got that email tonight. It was in your junk. I don't know. So anyway, I just wanted to say that. Do you know any cons that did time at McNeil Island back when it was a federal prison? No. I reached out to somebody, a Mexican guy who knows old Mexican mob guys, to try to find out things about McNeil Island. And I did heard that there was a guy on DC Black's channel. Oh my God, I just forgot his name. Oh man, but anyway, he said that he robbed Mexicans. He did, and he got stabbed the next day. There was a thing, but that happened. I was told that happened. Yeah, we all want to hear it. He's got a non-disclosure though. I get it. Yeah, I went there for visiting once. Yeah, Petey, I'm from CH. Okay. Anyway. All right, listen. So it's been 3 hours. I've answered the comments, so there's none popping up that are new. So I'll take this opportunity to exit. Tomorrow night is Thursday, and I did say I'm going to do lives Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. It is the first. Probably a good night to go ahead and do a live. I don't mind. Maybe I should do if I'm doing a story about a video, I should do that if I'm telling a story, I should do it on video, or at least premieres, because I start answering questions. But anyway, yeah, I do. Tomorrow's Thursday. I am supposed to do something tomorrow. It's supposed to rain like crazy here for the next couple of days. And then a friend of mine's coming from Leavenworth, that lives in Leavenworth, and I think he's bringing an extra motorcycle. We'll see. And he actually has a friend that's in Ozark by me, and I talked to that guy today. That guy's doing phenomenal up in Ozark. Ozark's nice too. All right. Yeah, I got you, Lonnie. And check tomorrow. I'm extra 4. Check tomorrow, and I know I have to be in. Yeah, there's really no reason I shouldn't come on tomorrow. Oh, that was the only Philly. There was only one Philly mob family, right? But they had a split. But Chicky, nutcase, right? All about the washer and dryers. Take it easy. I'm gone, guys. Good night.